Chapter 404. I actually hit the nail on the head. Elder Nyo and Elder Ma were dumbfounded. They asked with trembling faces, Sect Master, what compensation did you include? Although the two of them were a little worried, they felt that the Sect Master would still know his limits. Even if he wrote a compensation, it would not be too much. The two of them saw Du Gai's face turn green, then red, then purple. He gritted his teeth and said, 1/10 of their spirit stones. Elder Nyo and Elder Ma nearly fainted. What? Sect leader, what did you say? Du Gai gritted his teeth and said again, the matter of the earth fire extinguishing is inextricably linked to Spirit Radiance sect for sure. That old man Xianyuan set a trap for me. Sect leader, but we didn't find any traces of other people entering the cave. Moreover, the earth fire is violent and difficult to extinguish. How would they do it? Moreover, Spirit Radiance sect's Master Xianyuan and the elders are all in the sect. Who is so heaven-defying that not only did they extinguish the earth fire, but they also stole the fire spirit beast? The first person that flashed through Du Gai's mind was Yun Chuzhou. However, he shook his head. This was simply the biggest joke in the world. She was just a little girl at the 4th level of spirit enhancement. Even if there were 100 or 1,000 of them added together, they would not be able to accomplish such a big feat. Could it be that it was not done by them? They had just happened to take advantage of it. Du Gai was in a terrible state at that moment and was prepared to return to the sect to discuss with everyone first. It would be best if he obtained the Spirit Radiance sect's share of the spirit stones first. As for the earth fire, he would find an excuse to delay it for a period of time. As for the 1/10 of the spirit stones that he would have to compensate Spirit Radiance sect, he would just act like a scoundrel when the time came and say that he could not give it to them no matter what. The Immortal sect could not do anything to Heavenly Gate sect anyway. Du Gai made up his mind and calmed his expression. Only then did he act as if nothing had happened and enter the banquet hall. The two elders were also invited into the banquet hall and sat down to attend the banquet. Master Xianyuan and the two other sect masters were extremely curious. What exactly had happened to Heavenly Gates sect that they sent two elders to Spirit Radiance sect? Sect Master Dugu, did something happen? Do you need our help? Master Xianyuan asked tentatively. It's nothing serious. It's just a dispute between a few disciples. One of them is my true disciple who was slightly injured, Du Gai said in a decent manner. Everyone was skeptical, but this was the private matter of Heavenly Gates sect, so it was naturally not appropriate to ask too much. However, there was still the shameless Yun Chuzhou. This fellow had almost finished eating, so she leaned back on the chair and said with a grin, is it not a big deal? I heard from the side just now that your earth fire has been extinguished, and the fire spirit beast has been stolen. Are you planning to act like a scoundrel and stall for time without compensating us? Du Gai blurted out, nonsense. How can I be the kind of person who doesn't keep his word? Du Gai immediately regretted his words. He had fallen for this stupid girl's trick. The three of us had set up an isolation array. It was impossible for this stupid girl to hear us. She was trying to trick me. However, it was already too late. Everyone in the banquet hall immediately reacted. There was no fool there. Looking at Du Gai's reaction, it was most likely true. If nothing had happened to the earth fire, Du Gai would have refuted the first few sentences Yun Chuzhou said and not the last sentence about stalling for time. Yun Chuzhou clapped her hands. Oh my God, could it be that your earth fire has really been extinguished? The fire spirit beast has also disappeared. I was just casually saying it, and I actually hit the nail on the head. Oh my God, did Heavenly Gates sect do something so heartless that they were punished by the heavens? Chapter 405, This little girl is suspicious, utterly heartless? Punished by the heavens? Du Gai wished he could strangle Yun Chuzhou to death and was about to make a move out of humiliation. Yun Chuzhou hid behind Master Xianyuan and said, damn, I was only guessing. Who knew I would guessed it right? So now that I did, you want to murder me just to silence me. Besides, I'm so young, my words should not bring meaning. Don't you know? You're really narrow-minded. You even said that you were open-minded before this. Humph. Master Xianyuan protected Yun Chujiu behind him. However, he reprimanded her, Yun Chujiu. How can you speak like that? As the sect leader of a sect, how could sect leader Du lower himself to your level? Sect leader Du, you're not really going to take this little girl seriously, are you? Furthermore, there's a problem with your sect's earth fire. Aren't you going to give the three sects an explanation? Fairy Yumei and Daoist Jinny were shocked. There was really something wrong with Heavenly Gate's sect's earth fire. How could it be so coincidental? They had just signed a contract with Spirit Radiance sect with a compensation agreement when something went amiss with their earth fire. This matter definitely had something to do with the Spirit Radiance sect, but how did they do it? Earth fire was different from ordinary fire. It could not be extinguished even with water. Not to mention the fire spirit beast had not been seen for thousands of years. How was this possible? However, Heavenly Gate's sect was usually very arrogant. It was a good opportunity to vent their anger. That's right, sect leader, you don't have to hide it anymore. The two elders must have come from thousands of miles away to report something very important. For your sect to be so frazzled, it must be related to the earth fire. Daoist Jinny said with a cold smile. If the little girl didn't expose this, he would have really treated us as fools. Fairy Yumei also sneered, sect leader Du Gai, although the contract between you and Bixiao Palace doesn't mention the compensation for breach of contract, we can't just let this go, right? Du Gai gritted his teeth. At this point, he could not hide it anymore and could only delay it for a while. Hence, he squeezed out a smile and said, everyone, don't worry. Our Heavenly Gates sect is not a sect that's irresponsible. However, the incident happened suddenly, so I have to go back and understand the situation first before I can give you an answer. Everyone, I'm sorry. I'll take my leave first. Goodbye. After saying that, Du Gai led the group of people from Heavenly Gates sect and left. No one stopped him. They had not reached the point of falling out with each other yet. There was still a long way to go, and they were not afraid to settle their scores. Master Jinny laughed out loud. Master Xianyuan, you're really something. You actually managed to get Heavenly Gates sect's fire spirit beast here. Master Xianyuan saw Yun Chujiu shaking her head slightly, so he said self-deprecatingly, Master Jinny, you're overestimating our sect too much. The Heavenly Gates sect's earth fire cave is heavily guarded and even has the earth fire as a barrier. We do not have the ability to pull something like that off. Besides, other than the few elders who are in secluded cultivation, all of our sect's competent people are here. How could we have the chance to steal the fire spirit beast? However, no matter which expert did it, or if it really was heaven's punishment, it definitely helped us vent our anger. All these years, the Heavenly Gates sect has relied on the earth fire to take advantage of our three sects. When Daoist Jinny and Fairy Yumei heard what Master Xianyuan said and began to mutter in their hearts. That's right, everyone in Spirit Radiance sect who's competent is here. It's impossible for them to have the opportunity to steal the fire spirit beast. Little girl, how did you know that there was a problem with the Heavenly Gates sect's earth fire? Fairy Yumei stared at Yun Chujiu and asked. This little girl is rather suspicious. If it wasn't for her, the sect wouldn't have agreed to sign the contract, and they wouldn't have proposed adding the clause of compensation for breach of contract. Could a little girl at the 4th level of the Spirit Enhancement Realm do such an earth-shattering thing? Chapter 406. 9 is a bit lacking. Yun Chujiu giggled. I guessed it. Look at the two elders who came, one with the surname of Nyo and the other with the surname of Ma. Isn't that just the ox head and horse face? That definitely won't be a good thing. I figured that the most important thing for them is their earth fire, so I just casually said that. I didn't expect that I actually got it right. Everyone, including Fairy Yumei, were speechless. Can you be more serious? Are you kidding me? Yun Chuzhou, be serious and answer Master Yu Mai's question properly. Master Xianyuan reprimanded unhappily. Yun Chuzhou pouted and said, I was really just saying it casually. Just look at the two elders from Heavenly Gates sect who came here with weeping faces. It's obvious that something big has happened. When they came back, even though Du Gai tried his best to hide it, his forehead was already sweating. It's obvious that something big happened. I just tricked him a little. I didn't expect him to admit it. Don't tell me that you guys think that I stole the Heavenly Gates sect's fire spirit beast. If I had that ability, I would definitely take it out to show off. Ha ha ha. The people from Spirit Radiance sect also laughed out loud, as if they were listening to a joke. However, in their hearts, they were thinking, it was you. It was you. It was you. It was definitely you who did it. Otherwise, with your character of seizing all opportunities, why would you even take the initiative to agree with Heavenly Gates sect's offer? You were clearly digging a huge pit. That old thing, Du Gai, thought he's smart, but he was still tricked by this little girl with a belly full of evil tricks. Fairy Yumei and Daoist Jinny did not panic at all when they saw Yun Chuzhou laughing. They also thought that they were overthinking. How could such a little girl have such great abilities? They must be overthinking. Master Xianyuan discussed some follow-up matters with the two of them. Then, they left with their entourage. Master Xianyuan quickly activated the isolation array. Then, he asked in a trembling voice, Yun Chuzhou, did you cause the problems Heavenly Gates sect is facing? Yun Chuzhou straightened her small body, raised her neck, and said smugly, of course I did. Other than me, who else has the ability to do such an earth-shattering thing? The corners of everyone's eyes twitched, but they were also very impressed. It was no wonder that this little girl was so smug. She indeed had the right to be smug. She actually extinguished Heavenly Gates sect's earth fire and even kidnapped the fire spirit beast. It was really satisfying. I heard that you also took in 8 fire spirit beasts from the fire cave. Master Xianyuan continued to ask. Yun Chuzhou nodded. Yes, there are only 8. Including the one from the Heavenly Gates sect, there are a total of 9. It's indeed very little, but it's enough. Everyone was so angry that they were twitching. Would you die if you didn't act? You're purely showing off. There's 9 of them and you're still not satisfied. Heavenly Gates sect had 1 and they were already showing off to no end. Master Xianyuan coughed dryly. Then can you summon it out so that we can see it with our own eyes? Many of us have never seen what a fire spirit beast looks like. Yun Chuzhou nodded. No problem. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, little 1, little 2, little 3, little 4, and little 5, come out. Everyone was shocked by these names. Yun Chuzhou was good at everything except that naming. Following Yun Chuzhou's words, 9 fire spirit beasts were summoned out of the spirit beast pouch. 4 adult fire spirit beasts stood cautiously beside Yun Chuzhou. The 5 little ones looked around curiously, looking innocent and cute. Chapter 407, There must be something fishy going on. The people of Spirit Radiance sect were all extremely excited. Heavens, they had finally seen the appearance of fire spirit beasts in their lifetime. Plus, there were 9 of them. It was simply too exciting, was it not? In the future, sect's earth fire would be endless. Moreover, they could even sell it to other sections. It was truly a beautiful sight to behold. Come, little babies. Let's show them the formation we've practiced. Let's start with a long snake formation. Yun Chuzhou said proudly with her little hands behind her back. The 9 fire spirit beasts obediently lined up in a row. 2 dragons playing with beads. Triple grand sun rising. When the people of Spirit Radiance sect saw the fire spirit beasts obediently changing their formation according to Yun Chuzhou's words, they could not help but be dumbfounded. Some people even secretly pinched themselves, grimacing in pain as they rubbed their eyes with all their might. Fuck, didn't people say that fire spirit beasts are stubborn and violent? Why are the 9 in front of them even more obedient than little sheep? Could it be that the little sheep had disguised themselves? Come on, you guys are ancient exotic beasts. Can you have some integrity? Is this acting cute and juggling something that you ancient beasts should do? Have you seen enough? I'll keep them. Yun Chujiu put the fire spirit beast back into the spirit beast pouch and said, Master Xianyuan, if there's nothing else, I'll go back to the dormitory. Master Xianyuan pondered over it and felt that something wasn't right. Yun Chujiu, what's the arrangement for the fire spirit beasts in the future? Master Xuanyuan's eyes flashed. This little girl was very stingy. Could it be that she was going to keep all the fire spirit beasts for herself? Arrangement? I'm just raising them for fun. I've practiced the formation, so if I have nothing to do, I'll get them to play kuju with me. Yun Chujiu said with a smile. Cough cough. That's a little overkill. Besides, although these fire spirit beasts can eat other things, they mainly eat ores. Most importantly, what should we do with the earth fire that they discharge? It might even burn down your small courtyard. Master Xianyuan said tactfully. Master Xianyuan, they have a way to extinguish the earth fire. Otherwise, how could I extinguish the earth fire from Heavenly Gate sect? If you have something to say, just say it. I'm not an unreasonable person, Yun Chujiu said with a tone that made it easy to negotiate. Cough cough. Then, I will just be direct. Can we keep the fire spirit beasts in our sect's back mountain? Firstly, they can move freely. Secondly, I will send disciples to guard them strictly to prevent any accidents, Master Xianyuan said with a smile. Yun Chujiu giggled. Sect Master, I understand what you mean. You just want the earth fire to belong to the sect, right? That's not impossible. I'm a person who cares about the big picture the most. Even though I fished these fire spirit beasts with buns, I'm a member of Spirit Radiance sect, so I naturally have to think of our sect. Yun Chujiu, you've made a great contribution this time, so I'll reward you. Master Xuanyuan's old face flushed red. This little girl is taking the credit. That's right. If it weren't for Yun Chujiu, Elder Chu, and the others would have died in the fire cave. Not to mention she caught so many fire spirit beasts. Yun Chujiu smiled and said, Thank you, Master. How about this, I'm not a greedy person. Our sect can use the earth fire as we please. I won't accept a single spirit stone. Everyone felt that there was something wrong with their ears. Oh my god, did the sun rise from the north? This Yun Chujiu is the stingiest. Why is she suddenly so generous? There must be something fishy going on. Chapter 408, We are not used to her not being greedy. Master Xianyuan raised his eyebrows. What additional conditions do you have? Yun Chujiu giggled. Master, you know me well. First, we must ensure the safety of these fire spirit beasts. We can't be like the Heavenly Gate sect and neglect our duties. If there are any dereliction of duty, we must punish them severely. Second, the price of the earth fire will be reduced to 80% of price set by Heavenly Gate's sect. If any force or sect is willing to exchange it for a fragment of the Great Void Mirror, the price of the earth fire will be further reduced by 20%. We will split the spirit stones we get from selling the earth fire in half. Everyone listened to Yun Chujiu's words. The first item was reasonable, but the second item was a little unclear. This little girl was very greedy. Why did she set the price of the earth fire so low? Also, why was she so interested in the Great Void Mirror? The 50-50 split of profits was reasonable. Why did you reduce the price of the earth fire to 80% of what Heavenly Gate sect charged? Master Xianyuan was also puzzled. Master Xianyuan, the Heavenly Gate sect has suffered such a huge loss. When we have our earth fire, he will definitely bite back and say that we stole his fire spirit beast. Although I have a way to prove that they aren't from their sect, it's very likely that they will incite other factions to target Spirit Radiance sect. Therefore, we have to seize this opportunity. First of all, it will be announced to the public that a fire spirit beast has appeared in Spirit Radiance sect. The reason why we should say that it was only one beast is because it's akin to being a crime to have these treasures. If the other factions knew that we actually have 9 fire spirit beasts, they will start making all sorts of treats and promises, and our sect would be in a difficult position to deal with them. Secondly, by announcing the price of the earth fire, everyone would be able to benefit from it. Naturally, they wouldn't speak to Heavenly Gates sect. Lastly, print out a few hundred copies of the contract that Heavenly Gates sect signed with us and distribute them to all the major and small powers. This is to prevent Heavenly Gates sect from reneging on their promise. Everyone stared at Yun Chujo with their mouths agape. How did this little girl's brain grow so much? That was a chain of events. Such meticulous thinking truly made them sweat. They were only concerned with being happy. How could they have considered so much? No wonder she was the successor disciple of Patriarch Linghua. They really could not compare to her. Master Xianyuan nodded his head. What you said makes sense. Then what about the Great Void Mirror Fragment? I need it for something, so we might as well include it. Yun Chujo said with a smile. Master Xianyuan could not help but laugh, but did not ask further. Instead, he asked, if the Heavenly Gates sect says that the fire spirit beast is theirs, do you have the confidence to prove that the beast has nothing to do with them? Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. That's a piece of cake. When the time comes, I'll let them slap themselves in the face. Master, you just said that the sect wants to give me a reward. What kind of reward do you want to give me? When everyone saw Yun Chujia's expression, they immediately felt at ease. Yes, that's more like it. If this little girl isn't greedy, they aren't used to it. In the end, Yun Chujo obtained a few more defensive spirit tools and an isolation array plate from Master Xianyuan. She had a special liking for defensive spirit tools. Nothing was more important than her life. Yun Chujo sat on the chopping board and returned to the dormitory. Just as she reached the courtyard entrance, Yun Chu and the others surrounded her. Yun Chu and the others were all very haggard. They had been suffering for the past month because they were worried about Yun Chujia's safety. Now that they saw Yun Chujo return safely, they were finally relieved. After Yun Chu and the others left, Yun Chujo was about to enter the house to rest when she saw a flashy man in red appear in the courtyard. Chapter 409, The Chicken or the Egg Came First. Little Sister Jiu, long time no see. Did you miss your brother? Shui Wuji stroked the hair on his forehead and made a pose that he thought was the most charming. Brother Wuji, I missed you. Did you come to give me spirit stones again? Yun Chujo said with a smile. The corner of Shui Wuji's eyes twitched. Little Sister Jiu, you really know how to joke around. I heard that you went missing for a month. Has that facial paralysis guy been with you the whole time? Yun Chujo revealed a look of sudden realization, then, she sighed. Brother Wuji, I told you that you and my Prince Charming are in a gay relationship. As expected, it turns out that your visit is fake and your curiosity about my Prince Charming's whereabouts is your true intention. Since you care about him so much, then be bold and confess to him. I don't mind. I'll fulfill your wish. Shui Wuji almost vomited. He resisted the idea of strangling Yun Chujo and squeezed out a smile. Little Sister Jiu is still so humorous. The person that Big Brother likes is you. How could I like that emotionless guy? Long time no see. Why don't we sit down and have a chat? Although Yun Chujo was annoyed to death by this red-clothed pervert, she was also afraid of angering him. She could only sit on the stone bench and ask with a smile, Big Brother Wuji, what shall we talk about? I know astronomy and geography. Little Sister Jiu, we can talk about anything you want. Shui Wuji looked at Yun Chujo lovingly. Shui Wuji secretly used his charm. This move of his was successful every time, stunning countless little girls. He did not believe that this stinky girl could withstand it. Yun Chujia's little heart thumped rapidly. Heavens, this red-robed pervert was really good-looking. Xue Wuji saw that Yun Chujia's eyes were a little lost, and he was very proud of himself. How could an ignorant little girl escape his grasp? At that moment, Yun Chujio was thinking that since this red-robed pervert was so good-looking, his portrait would definitely sell very well. Not to mention women, there would probably be some men who would go so crazy as to buy it. Xue Wuji and Yun Chujio both revealed a smile of success. Shadow Agent Hua Hua, who was beside them, broke out in cold sweat. No matter how he looked at it, he felt that these two people were thinking of some cunning ideas. It was better for an honest person like him to stay away from them. Although the two of them had different thoughts in their hearts, it did not hinder their happy mood. Xue Wuji asked again, "Little sister Jiu, what do you want to talk about?" "Brother Wuji, do you really know everything? Then I'll ask you a few small questions. If you can't answer them, you'll pay me 10,000 spirit stones for each question. If you can answer them, I'll pay you 10,000 spirit stones." "Brother Wuji, do you dare to accept?" Xue Wuji pretended to be cool as he flipped his hair. "Why not? You can ask. Did the chicken or egg come first?" Yun Chujio tilted her small head and asked seriously. Xue Wuji sneered disdainfully. "Of course there's a chicken. Only with a chicken will an egg be born. It's such a simple question. You can even think of the answer with your toes, okay? Little sister Jiu, can you give me more difficult questions?" "Brother Wuji, where did the chicken come from?" "Chicken? The chicken naturally comes from an egg." Xue Wuji was stunned after he said that. The chicken laid eggs, and the egg gave birth to the chicken. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? "Brother Wuji, it seems that you already know that your answer is wrong. Give me the spirit stones." Yun Chujio stretched out her small claws with a smile. After Xue Wuji transferred the spirit stones to Yun Chujio, he snorted coldly. "It's just that I was careless. Let's go again. If we use a winter melon or stone to hit Wawa's head, which would hurt more?" "Ha ha ha, of course it's the stone. Do you even need to ask that?" Xue Wuji was full of confidence this time. He was sure that he was right this time. "Wrong. It's Wawa's head that hurts more. Give me the spirit stones." Xue Wuji was speechless. Chapter 410, You Still Have Me. Xue Wuji gritted his teeth. "Continue asking." Yun Chujio giggled. "This is not fun. I'm not going to ask anymore. Let's play 5-piece chess instead. Loser pays 10,000 spirit stones for each game." Yun Chujio was smart, but Xue Wuji was not an idiot. If she asked him again, he would find the trick to answer. At that time, she would lose. 5-piece chess. What is it? Xue Wuji asked in confusion. It's very fun. It's much simpler than Go. Brother Wuji, don't tell me you don't dare to play. Or do you think 10,000 spirit stones is too much? Humph. Me? Don't dare. 50,000. 50,000 for one game. Tell me the rules. Shadow Agent Hua Hua was on the verge of tears. Young master, this little girl is obviously tricking you again. Why don't you learn your lesson? He was puzzled. Did they come all the way here just to be tricked? Yun Chujio was very confident. Even a gigolo had to use 5 rounds to find the trick. How could this black chicken be smarter than the gigolo? Therefore, after 5 rounds, Yun Chujio said, I'm not going to play anymore. This thing is too brain-consuming. I'm dizzy. Let's play another day. 5, 25. Brother Wuji, give me 250,000 spirit stones. Xue Wuji had just found a trick and was in a good mood. When he heard that Yun Chujio was not going to play anymore, he immediately refused to give up and said, "No, I have to continue." "Brother Wuji, I already said that I'm dizzy. Don't tell me you want to take advantage of my situation. This isn't your style. You've always been an open and above-board man. Would you be so despicable as to force me?" Yun Chujio said pitifully. Shui Wuji was rendered speechless by her words. He gritted his teeth and thought to himself, if I can't do it this time, then next time. Sooner or later, I'll get back the spirit stones that I lost. Alright. If you don't want to, then don't. Little sister Jiu, let's have a chat. There were things I couldn't say out loud with that expressionless man around the other day. This time, I'll tell you everything that I know, Shui Wuji said with an expression that screamed, I will do it for you. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and said, Brother Wuji, tell me. Di Baiming has a bad reputation in Tianyuan continent. Aside from being nitpicky, everyone also says that he's gay. Otherwise, would his mother hold all kinds of banquets every few days? She's just afraid that her son won't be able to marry a wife. Shadow Agent Wawa's eyes twitched. Young master, is it really okay for you to lie like this? I heard that when those young ladies hear that there's a banquet at the Temple of Immortals, all of them wish that they could grow wings and fly over. Moreover, that banquet was not something that just anyone could attend. They were all carefully selected young ladies, and for the sake of a spot to participate in the banquet, they would fight to death for it. Furthermore, little sister Jiu, that mother of Di Baiming, is a famous old shrew. She would never agree to let you marry him. When the time comes, she might even take your life. I'm different. My mother died a long time ago, and my father doesn't care about me at all. As long as you agree, I'll marry you tomorrow. You'd be the young madam of the demon blood sect. Shui Wuji said. He looked at Yun Chujio with deep affection. Yun Chujio was stunned at first. Then, she covered her mouth and ran into the house, trembling. Sob, Brother Wuji, I'm so sad. I didn't expect the gigolo to lie to me. Sob, you go first. We'll talk another day. Shui Wuji was very proud. He held back his joy and shouted, Little sister Jiu, don't be sad. It's not worth it for that bastard. Brother will come to see you tomorrow. Yun Chujio's sobbing voice came from the house. Sob, Brother Wuji, you better come back in a couple days instead. I need to calm down. Sob. Okay. Little sister Jiu, you mustn't be too sad. You still have me. I'll leave then. Shui Wuji floated away. Chapter 411, This young master will make your life a living hell. Hua, how was that? I told you my charm is boundless, right? That stinky girl is already disappointed in Di Baiming. I just need to work harder and take advantage of the situation. This little girl will be in my grasp. Shui Wuji's mood was extremely fantastic at that moment. Losing some spirit stones was nothing. As long as he could get his hands on the little girl, Di Baiming would definitely suffer a huge blow. Shadow Agent Hua held it in, but in the end, he could not hold it in anymore. Young master, don't you think that the little girl's attitude has changed too quickly? I feel that she's probably lying to you again. Nonsense. Are you saying I can't even tell if she's lying to me or not? She was so sad that she was trembling. How could she be lying to me? Moreover, I'm not inferior to that facial paralysis, and I was so good to the little girl. I deliberately lost so many spirit stones to her. How could she not be moved? Shadow Agent Hua was already powerless to retort. Why was he even trying? Forget it. I see that you've tried your best but was still cheated by the little girl. It's really strange. You're usually so smart, but why do you become like a fool when you meet the little girl? Okay, in order to prove that I am right, let's sneak back and see the little girl's reaction. I will convince you wholeheartedly. Shui Wuji was actually a little suspicious about what Shadow Agent Huahua said, so he decided to go back and take a look. The two of them activated the concealment talisman and went to Yun Chujia's small courtyard again. They saw Yun Chujio sitting on the recliner happily, nibbling on the spirit fruit while chatting with the rolling pin next to her. "Little Flame, how was that? Your master cheated that black chicken out of 270,000 spirit stones again. TSK. He wants to lie to me with that IQ. It's simply a dream. Master, is what he said about the gigolo true? So what if it's true? I'm marrying the gigolo, not his mother. Besides, I can handle the gigolo, what's more his mother. If I don't pretend to be sad, the black chicken head won't leave. TSK, marry him. I'd rather become a nun than marry him. He's like a rooster in heat. Ah, no. He's a black chicken in heat. Ha ha ha. Shadow Agent Huahua saw that his young master's hair standing on its end, perfectly explaining what it meant to be in a fit of rage. This little girl's words are really too sarcastic. A rooster in heat. TSK. Don't even talk about the young master's narcissism. Even this confident young master can't take it. Shui Wuji had obviously suffered a huge blow. He had always thought that his charm was boundless. Even though he had faced challenges with Yun Chujio a few times, he did not think much of it. He felt that it was because she got to know Di Baiming first. Once she got to know him, she would definitely change her mind. Who would have thought that this stinky girl had been toying with him? She deserved to die. Yun Chujio felt her scalp go numb. She quickly took out the defensive spiritual weapon from her storage ring, but it was already too late. The furious Shui Wuji raised his hand, and Yun Chujio was imprisoned on the spot. The spiritual weapon on Yun Chujio's body had an active defensive function. It would only be activated when it encountered an attack. Shui Wuji had only imprisoned her, so those spiritual weapons were not activated. As expected of the skull that I've taken a fancy to. How cunning. You actually dare to lie to me? Black chicken head. Black chicken in heat. Little girl, you're the first person who dares to mock me like that. Very well, I will not kill you. I want to let you know what it means to live a life worse than death. At that moment, Shui Wuji no longer had his usual cheeky appearance, his eyes were scarlet red, just like an azura from hell. Chapter 412, You Are My Money Tree. At that moment, Yun Chujio only had one sentence in her mind, disaster comes from the mouth. Who would have thought that the black chicken's head would come back? What should she do? Yun Chujio thought about what she had said, but there was no way to clear her name. She could not say that the black chicken in heat was a positive term, right? This time, she was really courting death. Aren't you usually very talkative? Why aren't you speaking now? Shui Wuji stared at Yun Chujio fiercely. Damn it. She was really detestable. If it was not for Di Baiming, he would definitely strangle this stinky girl to death. Cough cough. Brother Wuji, are you really angry? Sometimes, I say bad things about the gigolo behind his back, but he doesn't get angry when he catches me. You're more open-minded than him, so you won't get angry at me, right? Yun Chujio said pitifully. Humph. Don't do this to me. Shui Wuji raised his hand and hit the back of Yun Chujio's neck. Yun Chujio fainted. Shui Wuji turned to the southwest corner and said, Enfeng, if you don't want this stupid girl to die, don't follow us. Otherwise, I'll kill her directly. Enfeng was on the verge of collapse. Shui Wuji and his companion had used their concealment talismans, so he did not notice their arrival. Moreover, he was no match for Shui Wuji at all. After Shui Wuji finished speaking, he signaled Shadow Agent Huahua. Huahua raised his hand and a thick smoke enveloped the small courtyard. When Enfeng wanted to chase after them again, Shui Wuji and his company were already long gone. Enfeng was so anxious that he was about to cry. First, he took out his sound transmission talisman and sent a message to Di Baiming. Then, he left Spirit Radiance Sect to search for traces of Shui Wuji. When Yun Chujiu woke up, she found herself in a large cage. Through the gap of the cage, she found that it was an extremely luxurious room. The roof was inlaid with several huge luminous pearls, the floor was covered with a snow-white carpet, and the furniture was also made of expensive dark-patterned pine wood. Yun Chujiu saw no one in the room. She moved her body and found that the confinement had been lifted. However, she could not use her spiritual power. Yun Chujiu carefully observed the material of the cage and kicked twice, but there was no reaction at all. Stupid girl, don't waste your energy. This cage is made of ancient black iron, and it functions to confine spiritual power. If the key isn't used, not to mention you, even Di Baiming would not be able to open it. Shui Wuji had changed into a bright red brocade robe. He walked in barefooted. Yun Chujiu did not say anything. Since she was already captured, it was useless to say anything else. It seemed that this black chicken's head only wanted to torture her, not take her life. Otherwise, he would have strangled her to death. Stupid girl, don't worry. I won't kill you. I'll torture you slowly. When you are half dead from the torture, I'll use you to find that expressionless Di Baiming to exchange for some spirit stones and flowers. Didn't you cheat me of a few million low-grade spirit stones? I'll ask Di Baiming for 100 million high-grade spirit stones. In the future, when I'm in need of spirit stones, I'll go to Spirit Radiance Sect to capture you and then find Di Baiming to exchange for spirit stones. In the future, you'll be my money tree. Ha ha ha. Yun Chujiu sat cross-legged on the ground, still not saying a word. Stupid girl, are you mute? Speak. If you don't speak, I'll let a snake in and bite you to death. Shui Wuji had taken off his previous disguise, revealing his ruthless and evil personality. Didn't you say that I'm a money tree? A tree naturally won't speak. Yun Chujiu said lightly. Shui Wuji narrowed his eyes. It seems that I've been too kind to you in the past. You still don't know how powerful I am. Hua Hua, bring my little pets here. Chapter 413, Childish and Stupid. Shadow Agent Hua Hua dragged a huge crystal coffin and walked in. Inside the crystal coffin were 5 gold-ringed snakes with long tongues. Their sharp fangs were emitting a cold light under the reflection of the crystal. Shui Wuji smiled at Yun Chujiu. Stupid girl, isn't my pet so very beautiful? Do you want to hear the truth or lies? How would you lie? And how would you be truthful? Shui Wuji threw a wind-blade rabbit into the coffin, and it was instantly eaten up by the gold-ringed snakes. If I was lying, I would say that they're beautiful. If I was telling the truth, I would say. Hee hee. These snakes are equally as showy as you. I'm just afraid that some people don't know how much of a show-off they are, dressing like a black chicken in heat. Yun Chujiu pouted and said. Damn it. Since they already had a fall-out with each other, he would not believe her even if she said it nicely. She might as well say whatever she wanted to say out loud. Moreover, if he was angered, she might have a chance to escape. Shui Wuji was so angry that he laughed. Good. Good. As expected of a skull that I've taken a fancy to. You have guts. Then let these gold-ringed snakes play with you. Hua Hua, open the coffin lid. Young master, these gold-ringed snakes are extremely poisonous. If Yun Chujiu is bitten, she will probably die. Shadow Agent Hua Hua was a little hesitant. If he really killed Yun Chujiu, Di Baiming would definitely go crazy. At that time, their blood demon sect might not be able to withstand the anger of people from the Temple of Immortals. Stop talking nonsense. Put it in. At most, we can just feed her the detox pill. When Shui Wuji thought of how he had been teased by Yun Chujiu repeatedly like a fool, he was almost driven mad. Shadow Agent Hua Hua grinned. Their young master was a lunatic. The detoxification pill was a grade 10 pill. What was he trying to do? Could it be that he just wanted to see Yun Chujio panic and scream? Shadow Agent Hua Hua had no choice but to open the lid of the crystal coffin. The gold-ringed snake was a Tier 5 demonic beast. It had the instinct to seek benefits and avoid harm. When they saw Shui Wuji and Shadow Agent Wawa's spiritual power, they naturally chose Yun Chujio, who was in the cage. The 5 gold-ringed snakes quickly crawled toward Yun Chujio's cage. Shui Wuji looked at Yun Chujio with a cold smile. "Stupid girl, you will soon pay the price for your stupidity. Don't worry, I will not let you die from the poison. At most, it'll make you swell up like a pig. When the time comes, I will give Di Baiming a surprise." Yun Chujio looked at Shui Wuji with contempt, and then she hid in a corner of the cage. Childish. Stupid. Shui Wuji was so angry that he gritted his teeth. "I'll see if you're still stubborn later." At this time, the 5 gold-ringed snakes had already crawled into the cage through the gaps. One of them stuck out its tongue and chomped down in Yun Chujio's direction. Yun Chujio sneered. Although these gold-ringed snakes were at Tier 5, they were just ordinary poisonous snakes in this cage. For Yun Chujio, who was a special agent in her previous life, it was a piece of cake. Yun Chujio grabbed the 7 inches of the snake and smashed its head against the bars of the cage. The cage was made of a special material. With just one hit, the gold-ringed snake was dead. At that moment, the remaining 4 snakes also crawled toward Yun Chujio. She used the gold-ringed snake as a whip and lashed it toward the other 4 snakes. Yun Chujio's lashes landed on the snake. These gold-ringed snakes suddenly lost their spiritual power and their movements were not as fast as usual. In response to their whole 7 inches of existence being lashed, they were stunned for a moment. Yun Chujio followed the same method and looked for an opportunity to kill the 4 snakes. "Black chicken head, take these snakes to stew snake soup." Yun Chujio smiled coldly, picked up a snake and threw it toward Shui Wuji. Chapter 414, It will never be too late for little Jiu to get revenge. Shui Wuji and Shadow Agent Hua Hua were dumbfounded. They had imagined countless scenarios, such as Yun Chujio crying and begging for mercy, Yun Chujio fainting from fright, or Yun Chujio fainting after being bitten by a gold-ringed snake. However, who could have predicted that those gold-ringed snakes would be dead before anything happened to Yun Chujio? Was Yun Chujio's spiritual power not already restrained? Why was she still so agile? Shui Wuji dodged the 5 snakes with a flash in his eyes. "Damn girl, you have some skills. However, I have many ways to deal with you. For example, I could starve you to death." "Ha ha ha. Don't you love eating? I will starve you. Hua Hua, host a feast." Shadow Agent Hua Hua was speechless at his young master's childish behavior. He immediately prepared a sumptuous feast. Shui Wuji deliberately placed the table in front of the cage and began to eat slowly. "Stinky little girl, are you hungry? Do you want to eat?" Yun Chujio simply turned around and did not look at Shui Wuji. However, the aroma of the dishes and wine kept finding its way into her nose. She tore a strip from her clothes and made it into a simple mask so that she could not smell it. Seeing that Yun Chujio turned around and did not look at him, Shui Wuji started to eat while shouting, "Tisk tsk, this red braised meat is soft and glutinous. It tastes really good. This meatball is fried until it's crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. You want more after eating one. This steamed fish is even more delicious. It's simply superb." Yun Chujio simply covered her ears. However, all kinds of delicacies flashed through her mind: braised pork, steamed fish, hot pot, steamed buns, dumplings. Yun Chujio cursed Shui Wuji in her heart a few hundred times. Damn! He was just like a gigolo. They were all bad people, using delicacies to seduce her. Yun Chujio's stomach rumbled. Oh my god, could this damned black chicken starve me the whole time? Coincidentally, that was Xue Wuji's plan. After all, she would not starve to death from not eating for 3 days. Hence, he only gave Yun Chujiu some water every day and did not give her any other food. Yun Chujiu's eyes were blue with hunger. She hated Xue Wuji in her heart. Black chicken head, just you wait. It will never be too for me, little Jiu, to get my revenge. Sooner or later, I'll get you. Yun Chujiu was so hungry that she thought she saw a flatbread wrap when she looked at the bars of the cage. The woolen blanket on the ground looked like cotton candy. Just as Yun Chujiu was considering whether the woolen blanket could be eaten, she heard Xue Wuji's wild laughter. Di Baiming, I didn't expect you to come so quickly. Yun Chujiu, that wretched girl, has been locked in the demon-trapping cage by me. You wouldn't be able to release her without the key in my hands. Yun Chujiu's heart skipped a beat. The gigolo is here. Just as he finished speaking, Xue Wuji and Di Baiming walked in, followed by An Feng and Shadow Agent Hua Hua. Prince Charming. This shameless black chicken is starving me to death. Quickly throw some food in for me. Yun Chujiu felt that Di Baiming was akin to an angel with wings at that moment. She definitely would not seek trouble with the gigolo in the future. When Di Baiming saw Yun Chujiu being locked in the cage and heard her words, the murderous aura on his body was so thick that it made people suffocate. Xue Wuji, do you take my words for granted? Di Baiming, I didn't hit her or kill her. I just invited her over as a guest. As long as you give me 100 million high-grade spirit stones, I will release her immediately. Xue Wuji was fearless. Besides, Yun Chujiu was in his hands, so Di Baiming would not dare to do anything to him. Chapter 415, I have never been threatened by anyone. Hey, Prince Charming, stop talking nonsense with him. I'm starving to death. Yun Chujiu saw that Di Baiming did not throw anything over for her to eat and immediately became anxious. Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujiu was angry and in pain. He had warned her not to provoke Xue Wuji, but she refused to listen. It was one thing if you provoked him, but you actually said bad things behind his back and let him catch you doing it. The only person who dared to say that Xue Wuji was like a black chicken in heat was Yun Chujiu. Di Baiming threw a bottle of fasting pills to Yun Chujiu and said to Xue Wuji, do you think that I can be blackmailed? Xue Wuji laughed out loud. Di Baiming, do you mean that you don't want to save this stinky girl? Stinky girl, did you hear that? Di Baiming doesn't really like you at all. He chose 100 million high-grade spirit stones over you. You're really pitiful. Yun Chujiu swallowed 2 fasting pills and her stomach instantly felt better. After hearing Xue Wuji's words, she pursed her lips. Chicken brain, I told you that there's something wrong with your IQ, but you still don't believe me. My Prince Charming said that he won't be threatened by others. It's not that he doesn't want to save me. You can't even understand what he's saying. You're so dense. Xue Wuji was so angry that he gritted his teeth and said, Di Baiming, I've already given you face by not killing this stinky girl. If you aren't willing to exchange spirit stones for her, I'll smack her to death right now. An Feng's eyes were about to cramp up on him. Miss Jiu, you've already been captured, so please stop. What if Xue Wuji gets angry out of humiliation and really smacks you to death? Xue Wuji, are you planning to use little Jiu to threaten me again and again in the future? Di Baiming asked coldly. Xue Wuji's eyes flickered. Di Baiming, cut the crap. I'm asking if you agree to exchange spirit stones for this stinky girl. Di Baiming took out a voice transmission talisman, and the corners of his mouth curled up. Xue Wuji, I've thought that the 3 sects of Tianyuan continent was good enough. If you insist on provoking me, then there's no need for your blood demon sect to exist. Xue Wuji felt inexplicably uneasy. Di Baiming, what are you implying by taking out the voice transmission talisman? What are you going to do? Before I came, I arranged for a few people to visit your blood demon sect's blood demon pool. If you insist on making things difficult for little Jiu, I'll give the order to blow it up. Don't you think that would be very interesting? Shui Wuji was stunned at first before he laughed out loud. Di Baiming, do you think him a 3-year-old child? Whatever you say. Shui Wuji's words were interrupted by the vibrating voice transmission talisman in his storage ring. Young Master. Young Master. The people from the Temple of Immortals have captured all of our people. They said that they're going to blow up our blood demon pool. Shui Wuji's expression immediately changed. Di Baiming, how did you do that? Shui Wuji, I'm just not interested in destroying your blood demon sect, it's not that I can't. So, if you dare to touch little Jiu again in the future, I'll make the blood demon sect disappear from the Tianyuan continent. Shui Wuji's expression changed a few times. Suddenly, he smiled. Tisk, Brother Baiming, I was just making a harmless joke. I saw that little sister Jiu was feeling stifled at Spirit Radiance sect, so I brought her out to relax. I was also afraid that her spiritual power was too low and she would be in danger, so I used the demon trapping cage to protect her. No one can hurt little sister Jiu. Ha! Ha! Isn't this very funny? Without waiting for Di Baiming to speak, Yun Chujiu, who was in the cage, laughed. Brother Wu Ji is really too funny. Since it's a joke, then let me go. Let's drink and chat together. Chapter 416, I Will Kill You. Shui Wuji did not expect Yun Chujiu to be so easy. He took out the key and opened the cage. Little sister Jiu, you're so reasonable. I'll definitely treat you well. Yun Chujiu moved her limbs and suddenly waved at Shui Wuji. Several bolts of lightning flashed. I'll fucking kill you. Did I tell you to catch me? Did I tell you to get the snake to bite me? Did I tell you not to feed me? Prince Charming, help me beat him up. Shui Wuji did not dare to fight back. He was afraid that Di Baiming would really blow up the blood demon pool, so he could only dodge desperately. Little sister Jiu. Little sister Jiu. Please stop. It's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding my ass. How about I try to lock you in a cage too? And I'll try releasing a few snakes to bite you too. How about I starve you for 3 days? Yun Chujiu chased after Shui Wuji and continuously struck him with lightning. Although Shui Wuji's spiritual power was much higher than Yun Chujiu's, he did not dare to fight back with the presence of a great Buth-like being, Di Baiming. The room was only so big, so he was having a hard time being chased by Yun Chujiu. Brother Baiming, quickly make little sister Jiu stop. Let's talk. Let's talk. Shui Wuji shouted at the top of his voice. Di Baiming saw that he was at his end's wits, so he said, Little Jiu, come here. Yun Chujiu glared at Shui Wuji with hatred. Then, she walked up to Di Baiming and said, Prince Charming, this black chicken is really too hateful. Not only did he lock me in a cage, he even used a snake to bite me. The most hateful thing he did was that he didn't give me any food. And Feng's eyes twitched. Miss Jiu, you are indeed different from the rest. Shouldn't the most annoying thing for a normal person be a snake bite? What you care about the most is that he didn't give you food. Di Baiming looked at Shui Wuji. Shui Wuji, what are you going to do? Shui Wuji's eyes flickered. Brother Baiming, this is all a misunderstanding. Since the misunderstanding has been resolved, we are still friends. Can we release the people from the blood demon pool? Tui. Who is friends with you, black chicken? You've caused huge mental distress to me. If you don't compensate us with 100 million high-grade spirit stones today, there's no need for us to discuss any further. Yun Chujiu now had a big backer, so she was very smug. Fuck. Black chicken ash asterisk lo, I won't let you off today. That. Little sister Jiu is really humorous. This matter is my fault, but 100 million high-grade spirit stones is too much. How about 10,000? Shui Wuji gritted his teeth. You stinky girl, why didn't you get bitten to death by a snake? Prince Charming, actually, there's no need for that blood demon sect to exist. Just blow up it up. 100,000 spirit stones. How can a three-legged tripod be as good as two strong tripods? 1 million. If he goes and does nothing, isn't it a waste? Just blow it up. 10 million. Prince Charming, since Brother Wuji has admitted his mistake, our lord is magnanimous. Let him off this time. Yun Chujiu saw Di Baiming wink at her and knew that Shui Wuji had reached the upper limit of his tolerance. Di Baiming glanced at Shui Wuji, who was about to go crazy. Transfer the spirit stones to me and I will let them go. Shui Wuji transferred the spirit stones to Di Baiming. After a while, he received the voice transmission talisman from his subordinate and squeezed out a smile. Since the matter has been settled, I will not keep you. See you again. Yun Chujiu bared her little white teeth at him. Brother Wuji, I think the luminous pearl on the roof is not bad. Are you giving it to me or me? Chapter 417, Integrity was no longer needed. Shui Wuji squeezed out a word from between his teeth, send it. Then I want trouble. Brother Wuji. I'll just dig it out myself. I usually don't trouble others when I can do things myself. Yun Chujiu sat on the chopping board. She used a small dagger to dig out all the luminous pearls on the roof. Oh, and she left one for Shui Wuji in the end. Otherwise, she would not be able to see anything in the house. After Yun Chujiu flew down, she looked at the carpet on the floor. She cut off a large piece with her dagger and rolled it up into her storage ring. These few pieces of furniture look good too. Brother Wuji, do you mind if I borrow them for a few days? Shui Wuji clenched his fist and loosened it. He squeezed out an answer with great difficulty, I don't mind. Thus, Yun Chujiu kept a few pieces of furniture in her storage ring. Finally, she took a look at the demon trapping cage. Shui Wuji's heart trembled. He quickly kept the demon trapping cage in his storage ring. Little sister Jiu, I've refined this before. I can't give it to you. Yun Chujiu curled her lips, I didn't say I wanted it. Talking to me as if I'm a thief. Seriously. Prince Charming, let's go. There's nothing good in this room anyway. Brother Wuji, see you later. After Yun Chujiu and the other two left, Shui Wuji clutched his chest and howled, Hua Hua, my heart hurts. Yun Chujiu. Di Baiming. I'm not done with you guys. My 10 million high-grade spirit stones. My illuminating pearl. My snow cashmere carpet. My furniture. Shadow Agent Hua Hua was speechless. It was all your fault, okay? Why did you have to flirt with that little girl? Now that Di Baiming had handled the situation, then only do you regret it. Hua Hua. A year ago, I was still on par with Di Baiming. How did he become so powerful all of a sudden? Young master, I'm equally as confused. Could it be that he had an opportunity or a hidden illness in the past? Shui Wuji's eyes rolled around and suddenly his eyes lit up. Recently, the only variable is that stinky girl, Yun Chujiu. Do you think that Di Baiming's sudden strength has something to do with that girl? Young master, what you said makes sense. Shadow Agent Hua Hua thought for a while and felt that his young master was right. Why would Di Baiming take a fancy to Yun Chujiu? There must be a reason behind it. Shui Wuji took out the skull and played with it for a while. Suddenly, he said, since it has something to do with that girl, I will reluctantly continue to get close to her. With my intelligence, I will definitely be able to find some clues. Shadow Agent Hua Hua really wanted to help Shui Wuji recall how he was tricked by Yun Chujiu a few times. However, for the sake of his own life, he swallowed his words. Achoo! Achoo! Damn it! The black chicken must be speaking ill of me. Yun Chujiu, who was on the flying spiritual device, sneezed twice. Di Biming sat on the chair at the side without even lifting his eyes, as if he did not hear her words. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart, gigolo. You tsundere. Why are you pretending to be cold? Are you waiting for me to apologize? Humph. I didn't do anything wrong, why should I apologize? However, when Yun Chujio thought of the 10 million high-grade spirit stones that Xue Wuji had just compensated, she immediately threw away her integrity. This fellow eagerly walked up to Di Biming and said, Prince Charming, are you still angry at me? After I was caught by Xue Wuji, I thought that I was going to die. At that time, the only thing that I couldn't let go of was you, Prince Charming. Di Biming did not say anything, but he raised his eyebrows slightly. When Yun Chujio saw this, she said, Prince Charming, you said that we've been through a lot, and we broke up just because of a few words. Isn't that making a big deal out of nothing? Moreover, if you had told me properly, would I not have listened to you? Am I an unreasonable person? You even pushed me down. My back still hurts from it. Chapter 418, turned back into a tsundere gigolo, and Feng, who was piloting the flying spirit tool, almost burst out laughing. Miss Jiu, you're too good at bullshitting. I saw that you were alive and kicking when you were taking the illuminating pearl. Why are you in pain now? The corner of Di Biming's eyes twitched slightly, but he still did not speak. Yun Chujio saw that Di Biming was still ignoring her. She rolled her eyes and said with a cheeky smile, Prince Charming, do you want me to kiss you so that you will forgive me? And Feng. Close your eyes and cover your ears. I'm going to kiss your highness. Nonsense. Don't read those dirty things anymore. Di Biming could not bear to listen anymore. Yun Chujio made a victory sign in her heart. Little boy, no matter how arrogant you are, I can take you down. Prince Charming, I remember that a year ago, you were injured by that black chicken, right? Why is he so afraid of you now? Yun Chujio asked in puzzlement. Miss Jiu, firstly, our lord has the cold poison on him, and secondly, Xue Wuji is full of tricks. That's why he was ambushed by Xue Wuji. Now that our lord has gotten rid of the cold poison, he naturally doesn't worry about Xue Wuji anymore. And Feng then added in his heart. Also, our lord has become a lot more cunning in the process of fighting with you, hasn't he? Yun Chujio bared her little white teeth. Prince Charming, so the reason why you're so powerful is because of me. If it wasn't for my blood, how could your cold poison be removed so quickly? So, if I make any mistakes in the future, don't worry about me for the sake of the blood. The corners of Di Biming's mouth curled into a noncommittal smile. When he went back, he had thought it through. For a person who could show off like the black thing, he had to do both. He could not let her do as she pleased, or else she would be able to ascend to heaven. Prince Charming, if you can destroy the blood demon sect, why do you still keep it? Yun Chujio asked in confusion. The situation in the Tianyuan continent is complicated. Maintaining the current situation is for the best. Moreover, the blood demon sect is not as simple as it looks. I said that I would destroy them just to intimidate them. If it was so simple to destroy the blood demon sect, why would I let Xue Wuji off so easily? Di Biming explained. Ah, so that's how it is. But it doesn't matter, it'll become stronger sooner or later. When that time comes, I'll lock that black chicken in the cage and release the snakes to bite him every day while starving him to death. Yun Chujio said fiercely. Yun Chujio continued to ramble on and then came to the main topic. Prince Charming, can you transfer the spirit stones that the black chicken compensated me with to me? Di Biming raised his eyebrows. Compensate you? Yes, that 10 million high-grade spirit stones is what that chicken compensated me for my mental damage. Yun Chujio had an ominous feeling in her heart. Could it be that the gigolo is going to keep it all for himself? Di Biming looked at her deeply. If I don't save you, do you think Xue Wuji will compensate you with spirit stones? Transfer it to you. It's already good enough that I didn't ask you to hand over the illuminating pearl. Yun Chujo was dumbfounded. The gigolo had turned back into a tsundere gigolo again. She had only been in charge for a few days, but she was suddenly tormented because of a few storybooks. If God gave her a second chance, she would definitely not read those storybooks. Ah! Seeing that the spirit stones were not going to her, Yun Chujo could not be bothered to please Di Biming anymore. She pouted, took out a quilt, and laid it on the ground to sleep. Di Biming wanted to coax Yun Chujo a few times, but after thinking about it, he still did not move. He had to establish his authority in front of the black thing, or else she would definitely take advantage of him. Chapter 419, I am not greedy at all. The next morning, Di Biming brought Yun Chujo to Spirit Radiance sect. The sect was in a mess because of Yun Chuji's disappearance. However, only Yun Chuzi, the other disciples, and the higher-ups of Spirit Radiance sect knew about Yun Chuji's disappearance. Master Xianyuan and the others found a half-eaten spirit fruit on the ground in Yun Chuji's courtyard. There were also the footprints of 3 other people on the ground. They immediately knew that the situation was not good. Little Jiu must have been taken away by someone. The Heavenly Gates sect was the main suspect. However, after sending people to investigate, they found that there was nothing unusual going on around them. They also sent people to investigate the Bixiao Palace and the Immortal Sword sect. However, they did not find anything unusual. Everyone was puzzled, who had taken little Jiu away. After the 3 of them activated the concealment talisman, they went straight to Yun Chuji's courtyard. I'm going to see the sect leader. You guys can play by yourselves. Yun Chujo saw that Di Biming had no intention of coaxing her, so she started acting arrogantly too. Okay. Di Biming agreed and entered the house. Okay, you big head. Damn it, can't you say 2 more words? Tsundere, just you wait. Sooner or later, I will make you an obedient wife-slave. Yun Chujo sat on the chopping board and walked around Yun Chusi's courtyard. Before she could say anything, she was dragged to the meeting hall by Elder Chu. Little Jiu, where have you been these past few days? We were so worried. As soon as she entered the meeting hall, Elder Chu asked impatiently. I was taken away by that red-clothed pervert, and then my Prince Charming saved me. Red-clothed pervert? The red-clothed pervert who stole the witch hazel fruit the last time. Yes, that's him. That bastard locked me up in a cage and even released snakes to bite me. The most infuriating thing was that he starved me for 3 days. If it wasn't for my Prince Charming, I would have died. Sob sob. Dear sect leader, the last time I offended this red-clothed pervert was to protect the sect's property. I really gave my all for our Spirit Radiance sect. Yun Chujo decided to take what was lost. She could not get any spirit stones from the gigolo, but she could get some compensation from little Xianyuan. Young Master D is here. Where is he? When Sect Master Xianyuan saw Yun Chuji's posture, he knew that this fellow was going to extort them again, so he quickly changed the topic. He's in my dormitory. Dear Sect Master, can you give me 2 tokens? Otherwise, every time my Prince Charming and Enfong comes, I have to sneak them in. Ah, Master Xianyuan, I've been so hungry these few days that I feel dizzy. Do you have anything good to supplement me with? If I don't, I won't even have the strength to release the fire spirit beast. Humph. Trying to change the topic. It won't work. The corner of Master Xuanyuan's eyes twitched violently. He could only say, a few days ago, Fairy Yume of Bixiao Palace gave me 10 Bixiao fruits. I'll reward you with 3 to supplement you. There are 2 of us, Prince Charming and I. How are we going to split 3 fruits? If we don't split them evenly, we will have a fight. 4 fruits. No wait. 4 is an unlucky number. 5 fruits. Ah, but it's not easy to split 5 fruits. Then, I'll just take 6 fruits. I'm not being greedy at all, Yun Chujo pretended to count her fingers and said. Everyone wanted to kick her. There were 10 fruits in total. How is it not considered greedy if you took 6 fruits? Would it only be considered so if you took all 10 of them? Yun Chujo was afraid of arousing public anger, so she quickly changed the topic. Sect leader, have you arranged the accommodation for the fire spirit beast? The heat generated by the earth fire cannot be underestimated. The location is very important. Chapter 420, Sprinkling Dog Food. When everyone heard Yun Chuji's words, they all frowned. Back then, Heavenly Gates sect only had 1 fire spirit beast, so it was easier to handle. If these 9 fire spirit beasts were together, would the sect not become a fire cave? If that was the case, then Spirit Radiance sect would not be habitable. Master Xuanyuan's heart moved. Little Jiu, since you have a way to extinguish the earth fire from Heavenly Gates sect, perhaps you can also extinguish a portion of our earth fire too, right? Hee, Master Xianyuan is so smart. He actually thought of a solution in such a short time. I am truly impressed. The corners of Master Xuanyuan's eyes twitched. Was she kicking him down then giving him a bandage? When the time comes, I'll get the fire spirit beast to control the scale of the earth fire so that it won't be too hot. In addition, plant some medicinal herbs in the outer area that can absorb the heat of the earth fire. This way, we can have an additional share of the income from the herbs. There's no need to share the income from the medicinal herbs with me, Yun Chujo said with a smile. Everyone nodded. Yun Chujo was finally generous this time. Elder Qi secretly pursed his lips. She did not want the income of the medicinal herbs, but the medicinal herbs she gathered in his spirit herb garden were worth much more than that. Little Jiu, last time I said that I would hold a banquet to entertain young Master D. After that, he had something to do and left. Tonight, I will hold a banquet to entertain young Master D. You must invite him to attend. No problem, I'll definitely bring him over for you. Make more delicious food. The roast chicken last time was very good, and the plum blossom cake and golden crispy noodle snacks were also quite delicious. Oh right, that braised pork was too sweet last time. This time, use less sugar, Master Xianyuan rubbed his forehead. Can I add, Yun Chujo, you don't have to come tonight? Yun Chujo hopped back to the dormitory and told Di Baiming about Master Xuanyuan's invitation. Di Baiming agreed without hesitation. It was a good opportunity to deepen everyone's impression that the black thing belonged to him, so that no one would have any devious ideas. In the evening, Yun Chujo and Di Baiming rushed to the banquet hall. Under the setting sun, Di Baiming, who was dressed in white and flying on a sword, instantly became the focus of the crowd. Oh my god, it's young Master D. He's coming to Spirit Radiance sect again. Young Master D is so charming. I feel like my heart is about to burst. Ah, if I knew young Master D would come today, I would have worn my pink outfit. I'll go back and change now. Is that Yun Chujo next to him? How despicable. She always clings to young Master D. Who else is sitting on the chopping board flying apart from her? How shameless. She accepted our gifts for him last time. I wonder if she handed them over to Master D. Di Baiming and Yun Chujo entered the banquet hall. Master Xianyuan and the others had already arrived. After everyone exchanged a few pleasantries, the banquet began. Yun Chujo buried her head in food and was focused on eating. Di Baiming carefully helped to peel the prawns and pick out the fish bones. In the eyes of Master Xianyuan and the others, not only did this Master D have a high level of spiritual power, he was also deeply in love with little Jiu and was also very meticulous. In short, little Jiu was really lucky. After the banquet ended, and after bidding farewell to everyone, Yun Chujo burped and said, Prince Charming, I'm a little full from eating. Let's walk back. She was thinking in her heart, these lurkers are all staring at my Prince Charming. I want to let you all know that the gigolo is mine, and you all are fucking hopeless. D. Biming's eyes flickered. He thought that this was a good opportunity to show off and make those who had bad intentions toward little Joe stop. Thus, the two of them kept throwing out dog food on the road. They tortured countless single dogs to death. Chapter 421, Yun Chuji's Lullaby. Yun Chujo held D. Biming's arm and asked sweetly, Prince Charming, do you think I'm good looking? Do you think I'm as beautiful as a painting? As lovely as a flower? As refined as precious jade? Exceptionally intelligent. So beautiful and intelligent, it moves the hearts of all. Loved by all. Devastatingly gorgeous with beauty capable of captivating even the birds and beasts. A beauty so out of this world. 1. The group of female disciples that tailed them heard Yun Chuji's words and wanted to slap her. They had seen shameless people before, but this was the first time they had seen such a shameless person. Unless young Master D was blind, he would only think that this bony little girl was good-looking. D. Biming nodded slightly. It was impossible for him to say something like you're really good-looking with his personality. Was considered the greatest affirmation. When the female disciples saw that D. Biming only responded with they felt that young Master D must be very well-mannered and could not bear to hurt her, so they were just perfunctory. Yes, that must be it. Prince Charming, then do you like me? You're not allowed to say If you want to say yes or no, then do it. Yun Chujo raised her small face and asked with a smile. The hearts of the female disciples were in their throats. No. Quickly say no. Young Master D definitely would not like this thick-skinned Yun Chujo. Yes. D. Biming's low voice was like a sharp sword piercing into the hearts of the female disciples. Impossible. How could young Master D actually like this thick-skinned Yun Chujo? This was impossible. Yun Chuji's face was smiling as brightly as like a flower. From the corner of her eye, she caught a glimpse of those little fairies' grief-stricken expressions. It was simply too satisfying. Damn it, you guys dare to dream about my man. You guys are really gutsy. Prince Charming, are you only going to like me? Yun Chuji's question was half real, and her heartbeat also slightly accelerated. There are many beautiful things in life, but it is enough to grasp only one of them, too. D. Biming did not hesitate and said slowly and firmly. Yun Chujo felt that her heart was about to jump out of her chest, and her face was slightly hot. She quickly covered her face and pointed at the stars in the sky and said, Prince Charming, look at how beautiful the stars in the sky are. Okay. After D. Biming said that, he took out his sword, held Yun Chuji's waist, and rode on his sword, Little Joe, the stars in the sky are even more beautiful. The girls on the ground were heartbroken when they saw D. Biming and Yun Chujo leaning against each other on the flying sword and looking at the stars. That young Master D truly did not like the enchanting beauties like them but liked Yun Chujo who had neither breasts nor buttocks. There must be something wrong with his eyes. Yun Chujo and D. Biming sprinkled dog food all the way back to Yun Chuji's courtyard. After washing up, she climbed to the inner side of the bed and said fawningly, Prince Charming, sing the lullaby. Yes, sing the song Clear Moon, Quiet Winds, 3. D. Biming glanced at her. My throat hurts. I can't sing. Yun Chuji's small face fell. Who was he kidding? His throat was still hurting. He just didn't want to sing it for her. The gigolo was rebelling. Just now, he looked so affectionate outside. It turned out he was just pretending. Idol, who said that as long as I'm alive, he will sing lullabies for me every day. If I'm tired of that song, I'll learn a few new ones. D. Biming's eyes flickered. I did say that, but I can't sing today because of my sore throat. I'll sing to you another day when my throat doesn't hurt. You're obviously just looking for an excuse. If you didn't want to sing, you don't have to. I'll be fine even without your help. I'll sing to myself. Sing the way you sing the braised pork with skin. Yes, the pork with skin is the main ingredient. The supplementary ingredients are the oil, salt, soy sauce, and brown sugar. Wash the pork with skin, boil it, and fish it out, fish it out, fish it out. Biming almost fell off the bed. Black thing, are you kidding me? Recipes can also be used as a lullaby. Chapter 422, Do I Look Like a Bride? Yun Chujio glanced at him and sang even louder. When the brown sugar bubbles up, put the meat in. After repeating that a few times, Biming could not stand it anymore. Shut up. Stop singing. Humph. If you don't want to sing for me, then I'll just sing myself, okay? Not only do I know the song of braised pork, but I also know the song of dumplings with cabbage stuffing. The dumpling making song goes like this. Flour is the main ingredient, and the supplementary ingredients are the meat, stuffing and cabbage. In order to not be brainwashed by the demonic music, Biming could only say, I'll sing for you, please stop. Yun Chujio shook her head repeatedly. Isn't your throat hurting? I don't need you, I can sing by myself. I'll be able to fall asleep as I sing. After I sing the song of dumplings, I'll sing the song of buns, and after I'm done with that, I'll sing the song of pies. I know a lot of songs. Biming gritted his teeth. It doesn't hurt anymore. Lie down and I'll sing for you. All right then. I'll force myself to listen to you sing. If your throat is sore, don't force yourself. I can even sing the song of steamed fish. Biming was afraid that this fellow would sing again, so he quickly began to sing in a low voice. The moon is bright, the wind is calm, and the leaves cover the window. Yun Chujio closed her eyes, feeling very proud in her heart. Little brat, I can't control you anymore. If you don't sing a lullaby for me in the future, I will sing a recipe to torture you. The next day, after breakfast, Yun Chujio let the 9 fire spirit beasts out for a stroll. Since the gigolo was there, she was not afraid that someone would come and snatch it. The 5 little fire spirit beasts were curious about everything they saw. Some were playing on the swing, and some were chasing and biting their tails. Among them, little number 5 used 2 small front claws to scratch a corner of the yard a few times, and then ate a fruit core. However, no one noticed this. Yun Chujio was currently considering whether to let number 4 acknowledge her as its master. If she did, she would definitely attract lightning again. Yun Chujio thought for a moment and decided to let number 4 acknowledge her as its master. So be it if she had to be struck by lightning. After all, she should not miss this opportunity. Number 4, come and acknowledge me as your master. Yun Chujio drew blood from her index finger and dripped it into fire spirit beast number 4's mouth. Then, she began to form a seal. A simple, yet complicated pattern of a contract appeared in the air. A moment later, the contract was established. As expected, after a while, a dark cloud floated over from the sky. However, no matter how one looked at it, the dark cloud seemed to be unwilling. It trembled and slowly moved toward Yun Chujio's dormitory. Yun Chujio glanced at it. Prince Charming, let's go to the back of the mountain. Well, be struck again. But this time, the dark cloud seems to be very weak. Biming took out a fiery red dress from his storage ring and handed it to Yun Chujio. Try it out. As long as it is not the heavenly lightning like last time, there shouldn't be an issue. Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. It can prevent lightning? My Prince Charming, you're so great. Do you have a hat? Although there are hair growth pills, it will take a few days to grow to the length of my shoulders. I can't find the hat, but I found a Phoenix Nirvana immortal handkerchief. You can tie it on your head. Biming handed Yun Chujio a fiery red handkerchief. Yun Chujio ran into the house and changed her clothes. The handkerchief covered her hair, with the knot ends forming 2 small pigtails behind her head. She jumped out. My Prince Charming, look at me. I'm all red. Do I look like a bride? Yun Chujo walked around on the ground. Di Biming was slightly stunned. He did not expect her to look so good in red. Chapter 423, mesmerized by her own beauty, Yun Chujo saw that Di Biming was in a daze and could not help but giggle. Prince Charming, have you lost your mind looking at me? Ha ha ha, don't be embarrassed. Sometimes, I can even mesmerize myself by looking at my reflection in the mirror. Why am I so good looking? And Feng, who was in the corner, almost burst out laughing. Miss Jiu, and you dare to call Shui Wuji narcissistic? I think you're the more narcissistic one. You even enchanted yourself with a mirror. How narcissistic can you be? What nonsense are you spouting? Let's go. The flirtatious thoughts in Di Biming's mind were instantly dispelled by Yun Chujio's shameless words. Yun Chujio pursed her lips. You keep saying that I'm spouting nonsense. How was I spouting nonsense? You're clearly enchanted by my beauty, yet you refuse to admit it. Humph. Yun Chujio ignored Di Biming's dark expression. She hopped and put the fire spirit beasts into her storage ring. She sat on the chopping board and flew to the back of the mountain. Di Biming snorted coldly and followed behind Yun Chujio. He planned in his heart that after the lightning strikes were over, he would let the black thing change out of this set of clothes. Otherwise, it would attract too much attention. After the two of them reached the back of the mountain, Yun Chujio found an empty space. She pointed at the dark clouds in the sky and shouted, Hey, little dark cloud, just do what you want. If you make my new clothes dirty, I'll give you an earful. The dark clouds in the sky was feeling miserable at that moment. It had not managed to kill this scourge even with such a big formation last time. Hearing that they had to attack her, no one was willing to go. It was unlucky enough to be picked. This scourge was right. It could not kill her anyway. The dark cloud just had to do something as a token and that would suffice. Therefore, after a few scattered strikes, the dark clouds drifted away as if it was escaping. Yun Chujio was a little dumbfounded. It was over just like that. Well, this dark cloud was not bad. The dark cloud finally received a good review. Prince Charming, let's go. Since it's over, let's go find Master Xianyuan to look at the new residences for the fire spirit beasts. Yun Chujio held Di Biming's arm and said with a smile. Well, okay. But, you should change your clothes. Why? Doesn't this look nice? It looks festive and fits my lively character. Yun Chujio was very satisfied with this set of clothes. The gigolo's taste was not bad. Cough. This set of clothes is of the immortal artifact level. Aren't you afraid that you'll be punished for wearing a treasure? Why don't you put the sect uniform on outside so that people won't covet it? Di Biming said seriously. When Yun Chujio heard this, she immediately felt that it made sense. The gigolo was right. One should not reveal one's wealth. It would be bad if others were to covet it. Thus, Yun Chujio put the sect uniform on the outside of this set of clothes. The Phoenix Nirvana immortal handkerchief on her head was put into her storage ring. Only then did she and Di Biming go to see Master Xianyuan. The fire spirit beast's residence was located at the back mountain of Zhang Peak. Firstly, there was a mineral vein here. Secondly, it was quite far from the back of Middle Peak. This was to prevent Yun Chujio from being struck by lightning. Thirdly, the terrain there was suitable for setting up guards. Yun Chujio felt satisfied after checking the area and released the 9 fire spirit beasts. The 5 small beasts were reluctant to part with her until Yun Chujio promised to come and play with them whenever she had time and give them delicious food, only then did they enter the cave. Master Xianyuan, we can now spread the news of the fire spirit beast descending from the sky. Remember, we only have 1 fire spirit beast. When the time comes, the supply of earth fire should be limited, especially for the Heavenly Gates sect. If they don't give us 1/10 of the share of the spirit stones, we won't sell them even one piece of earth fire. Master Xianyuan nodded. Du Gai, that old thing, would definitely act shamelessly. However, he was unlucky to have met little Jiu. Chapter 424, You stole our beast in less than 3 days. The news that the Spirit Radiance sect had obtained a fire essence beast spread like wildfire. Du Gai was so angry that he started to twitch. It must have been stolen from us. And you even said that it was a heavenly gift. What bullshit. Spread the news that Spirit Radiance sect had stolen Heavenly Gate sect's fire spirit beast and send invitations to all the major sections. Say that in 3 days, Heavenly Gate sect will go to Spirit Radiance sect to seek justice and ask everyone to be a witness. The others from the sect were also extremely angry. One of them commented, Sect leader, I really can't understand how Spirit Radiance sect extinguished the earth fire and stole the fire spirit beast. Du Gai gnashed his teeth and said, no matter how they did it, I will not forgive them this time. They actually stole our fire spirit beast and then set a trap for me to jump in. It's really detestable. 3 days later, Du Gai brought the people of Heavenly Gate sect to the foot of Spirit Radiance sect's mountain. The other forces of the Qingxian continent also sent people over. They were mostly maintaining a wait-and-see attitude. This matter of the earth fire was not a small issue, who had to be put aside first. In the end, the most important thing was to reap the benefits. People of Spirit Radiance sect, hurry up and come out. Stealing Heavenly Gate sect's fire spirit beast is really shameless. Come out and confront us. The people of Heavenly Gate sect shouted loudly. The voices of the people from Heavenly Gate sect had gone hoarse. The mountain gate of Spirit Radiance sect was still tightly shut, and not a single person came out. Steam almost came out of Du Gai's ears from anger. Was Master Xianyuan planning to hide in there? Just as everyone was slowly losing their patience, Spirit Radiance sect's mountain gates opened, and Master Xianyuan came out with 5 other peak masters and all the elders with a smile on his face. Everyone, sorry for not welcoming you earlier. I just helped the fire spirit beast take a bath, so I was held back for a bit. Please forgive me. Master Xianyuan cupped his hands at everyone. Everyone was dumbfounded. What the hell was that? Bathing the fire spirit beast? Was he joking around? Who did not know that the fire spirit beast had a violent personality? Let alone taking a bath, one could not even catch a glimpse of its shadow normally, right? Du Gai sneered. Master Xianyuan, even if you're lying, you should say something more believable. No one has seen the true appearance of the fire spirit beast in our Heavenly Gate sect for thousands of years. How did it suddenly become docile in your sect? Master Xianyuan frowned. Du Gai, what are you talking about? What do you mean it had become docile in our sect? This one of ours was bestowed by the heavens, and yours was captured. How can this be the same? Du Gai sneered. Xianyuan Changkong, do you take us all as 3-year-old children? How could it be so coincidental? Heavenly Gate sect just lost one, and your sect suddenly has a fire spirit beast. You've clearly used despicable methods to steal our fire spirit beast. I didn't expect that Spirit Radiance sect, one of the 4 great sects, would actually do such a thing. How despicable. Everyone felt that what Du Gai said made sense. That was right. How could there be such a coincidence? They had just lost it, and now there was one of them there. Sect leader, you're too easy to talk to. Let me ask sect leader Du Gai a few questions. Yun Chuzhou jumped up from behind and said with a smile. It's this damned girl again. Du Gai hated Yun Chuzhou to death, but his thoughts changed. No matter how cunning this little girl is, she's not as cunning as that old fox, Xianyuan Changkong. Perhaps I can find a flaw in her. Thus, Du Gai said, Yun Chuzhou, what do you want to ask? Chapter 425, to pick an old man to be your father. Sect leader Dugai, is the fire spirit beast of Heavenly Gates sect male or female? What color is its fur? What does it look like? What is its age? Dugai opened his mouth and said, This fire spirit beast has a violent temperament. We've never seen its true appearance, but it's at least 2,000 years old. Sect leader Dugai, it's as if you didn't say anything. According to what you said, doesn't it mean that all fire spirit beasts of Qingxian continent can be said to be the one that your sect lost? You should at least say something unique, right? Otherwise, how can you prove that this one is the one that you lost? You can't lose your father, and then pick some other old man to be your father, right? Boom! Everyone burst into laughter. This little girl's words were really interesting. Sect leader Dugai had been scolded badly this time. Dugai's face was livid with anger. He wished that he could slap Yunchujiu to death with one palm, but under everyone's watchful eyes, he could not make a move. He could only grit his teeth and say, Yunchujiu, be merciful with your words. Although we've never seen the appearance of a fire spirit beast, we can occasionally hear its cries. We have recorded it with a sound stone. You can bring out your fire spirit beast and make it cry out a couple times. We can compare it. Sect leader Dugai, didn't you say that your fire spirit beast has a violent temperament? How would we be able to carry it out? If we can, it means that its temperament is docile, so it isn't your fire spirit beast. Why are you contradicting yourself? This. Maybe you gave the fire spirit beast some medicine and made it docile and obedient. Dugai stuttered when he was questioned by Yunchujiu. He hated Yunchujiu with all his heart. This wretched girl had such a sharp tongue. She was really difficult to deal with. Sect leader Dugu really has many evil tricks. He actually thought of giving the fire spirit beast medicine. TSK. Could it be because you want to give sedatives to the fire spirit beast? Maybe the fire spirit beast thought, I can't stay in such a wicked sect, so she ran back to the fire cave. The expression on Yunchuji's little face was very vivid. The onlookers were all amused. Most of them did not know Yunchujiu, so they asked each other in a low voice, Who is this little girl? This little girl was only 14 or 15 years old, and she looked pretty good. However, her spiritual power was too low as she was only at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm. It seemed that she was very favored in Spirit Radiance sect. Otherwise, how could she have any say in such an important occasion? Dugai was a little embarrassed and angry by the crowd's laughter. Yunchujiu, cut the crap. Either you bring out the fire spirit beast, or we go to Spirit Radiance sect's earth fire cave together. In short, when we hear the fire spirit beast's cry, we'll know whether it's the one from our sect. Sect leader Dugai, you said that you've lived for hundreds of years in vain. Isn't the cry of demon beasts from the same species more or less the same? A tiger's roar, a wolf's howl, an ape's cry, a horse's neigh, a lion's roar, a dog's bark. Even if it's not the fire spirit beast from Heavenly Gates sect, the cry must be more or less the same. You're not trying to deceive me because I'm young, are you? You're really disrespecting your elders. Dugai's face was as red as a tomato. However, there was nothing wrong with what Yunchujiu said. The cries of the same type of demon beast were almost the same, so his explanation really could not hold up. Dugai sneered, Little girl, although you're eloquent, a small part of the fire spirit beast's tail was cut off by the sword when it was captured. As long as Spirit Radiance sect summons the fire spirit beast, everyone will know who's lying. Oh my god, this is bad. There's actually a mark. Didn't they say that no one in Heavenly Gates sect has seen that fire spirit beast before? Yunchujiu felt that she had said something wrong and quickly covered her mouth. Chapter 426, lose quickly whether it was Du Gai or the bystanders. When they saw Yun Chujia's performance, they were even more certain that this fire spirit beast from Spirit Radiance sect was the one from the Heavenly Gates sect. Little girl, there's no point in talking anymore. Hurry up and summon the fire spirit beast, okay? A trace of pride flashed in Du Gai's eyes. It was indeed easy to fool someone at such a young age. If it was that old thing Xianyuan Changkong, he definitely would not have given himself away. Yun Chujia's small face scrunched up. She glanced at Master Xianyuan in embarrassment and then stuttered, Master Dugu, the fire spirit beast is in the earth fire cave. There's earth fire inside, so we can't get it out. Du Gai sneered, little girl, just now Xianyuan Changkong said that he would help the fire spirit beast to bathe. Why can't he get it out now? Aren't you contradicting yourself? The fire spirit beast is taking an afternoon nap now, so it can't be summoned. Yun Chujio took out a handkerchief and kept wiping her sweat, which made people think she was guilty. Afternoon nap? Then how long does it naps for? Yes. It may take 8 to 10 days, or it may take a year or so. Yun Chujia's eyes flickered, and her hands kept tugging at the corner of her clothes. Du Gai sneered, little girl, isn't your excuse a little too lame? If you don't summon the fire spirit beast, it proves that Spirit Radiance sect is guilty, and then we can only resort to force to solve it. If the fire spirit beast was woken up and didn't have a good rest, it would be in a bad mood. If it was in a bad mood, it wouldn't like to eat, and if it didn't like to eat, it wouldn't pass earth fire. This would seriously affect the production of earth fire. If it affects our production of earth fire, would you compensate us? Although Yun Chujia's voice was very loud, no matter how one looked at it, it felt like she was acting tough on the outside but was actually weak on the inside. There was a sense of guilt in her voice. Are you trying to stall for time? It's just a little bit of earth fire. If we have to compensate, so be it. Quickly summon the fire spirit beast. Du Gai saw Yun Chujia's behavior and was even more certain that the fire spirit beast from Spirit Radiance sect was stolen. You'll pay. How much can you pay? If this fire spirit beast is unhappy, it might affect half of the total earth fire production. Yun Chujia's eyes flickered as she shouted loudly. How much do you want? Du Gai was now in a hurry to prove that the fire spirit beast was from his own sect. If he could prove that Spirit Radiance sect had stolen their fire spirit beast, not only would the earth fire be once again exclusive to Heavenly Gates sect, but Spirit Radiance sect's reputation would also plummet. On top of that, there was still 1/10 of the spirit stones. Yun Chujio counted with her fingers for a while, and only when Du Gai impatiently urged her did she say, how about 1/10 of the spirit stones? Du Gai was so angry that he was twitching. You really dare to ask for it? Just because we disturbed the fire spirit beast's nap, you want us to pay 1/10 of your sect's ownership of spirit stones? Little girl, you're making trouble for no reason. If you continue like this, well, just barge in. Du Gai's patience was exhausted and his attitude became domineering. Alright, then 10 million low-grade spirit stones it is. If you don't agree, then you can just go ahead and try to barge in. Spirit Radiance sect isn't to be trifled with. Du Gai thought for a moment. Although 10 million spirit stones was not a small amount, it was not too much. It was better to end the battle quickly. Alright. I promise you. If this fire spirit beast's tail is not broken, I will compensate Spirit Radiance sect with 10 million low-grade spirit stones. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. Sect leader Du Gai, you won't go back on your word, right? I've always kept my word and never went back on it. Du Gai said with a cold smile. Well, don't go back on your word then. You'll lose a lot if you do. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Where did the anxiety from just now went? Chapter 427, am I being scammed again? Du-Gai had an inexplicable ominous premonition in his heart. Back then, when this stinky girl tricked him into signing the contract, she was smiling like that too. Could it be that I'm being scammed again? It can't be. It can't be. I must be overthinking. How could a teenage girl have such shrewdness? Master Xianyuan, send a few elders to catch the fire spirit beast with me. Our sect has always been truthful. Let's show the world who is lying. Yun Chujiu turned around and said to Master Xianyuan. Master Xianyuan nodded and let Elder Xiao and the others follow Yun Chujiu into the mountain gate. Although Master Xianyuan looked calm on the surface, he was extremely excited on the inside. Damn! Du-Gai, are you mad? Aren't you a show-off? It'll make you suffer. It'll show you know what it means to be unable to cry. What it means to be in so much pain that you wish you were dead. What it means to have nothing to live for. The elders of Spirit Radiance sect all had solemn expressions on their faces, but in fact, they were all about to burst out laughing in their hearts. When they were tricked by little Jiu, they had rejected her in their hearts, but seeing her trick Du-Gai was really great. Little Jiu's ability to deceive others was truly at its peak. No wonder Du-Gai was tricked. If they did not know the inside story, they would definitely think that she was guilty. Her acting skills were simply impossible to not fall for. Everyone waited for nearly an hour before Yun Chujiu and the others came out. Everyone stretched their necks and looked at a small fiery red beast following behind them. This small beast was only about 2 feet in size, and its appearance was somewhat similar to that of a fire-breathing panther. It had fiery red fur, and its eyes were like rubies, flowing with brilliant colors. It was very beautiful. What disappointed everyone was the small beast's tail had been wrapped by cloth, so it was impossible to tell whether its tail had been broken or not. Du-Gai had originally felt a little uneasy, but now that the small beast's tail had been wrapped, his heart was filled with confidence again. Spirit Radiance sect was clearly trying to cover up. If its tail had not been broken, would there be a need to cover it up? The surrounding crowd curiously sized up the little red beast. Someone asked loudly, Sect leader Du-Gai, is this a fire spirit beast? Didn't the fire spirit beast we had have a violent temperament? This one looks rather docile. That's right, we've never seen a fire spirit beast before. How can we prove that this is it? Du-Gai looked at Yun Chujiu. Little girl, is this really a fire spirit beast? Yun Chujiu pursed her lips and rubbed the little beast's head. The little beast aimed its butt at Du-Gai, and a rock fell to the ground and quickly burned. Oh my god! It's really a fire spirit beast. But isn't a fire spirit beast a strange beast? How can it be so obedient? That little girl even touched its head and it didn't resist. Yeah, I think this fire spirit beast might really be heaven's gift. Didn't they say that the one from the Heavenly Gates sect was very violent? This one is obviously very docile. It's hard to say. Can't you see that this fire spirit beast's tail is wrapped in cloth? If they weren't guilty, why would the tail be wrapped in a cloth? Little girl, since this is a fire spirit beast, then untie the cloth on its tail. Du-Gai said confidently. Sect leader Du-Gai, do you have any first aid pills on you? Don't try to blackmail Spirit Radiance sect just because you can't take the blow later. The smile on Yun Chujiu's face was very bright. She was going to make a small fortune again. Was that not fantastic? Chapter 428, The Perfect Tale. Little girl, cut the crap. Hurry up and untie the cloth. Du-Gai snorted coldly. Yun Chujiu untied the cloth on the fire spirit beast's tail bit by bit. La, la, la. Everyone, take a look. What a perfect tail. Everyone's eyes were focused on the beast's tail. The tail was flawless. It was long and curled up, swaying back and forth nimbly. No. Impossible. Du-Gai's eyes widened. He could not believe what he had just seen. It's a fake. You must have done something to it. They fixed the tail last minute. Yun Chujio giggled. Fairy Yume and Daoist Jinny, please come forward and take a look. See if this tail has been tampered with. Sect Master Du Gai, you trust them, right? Although Du Gai wished that he could go forward and cut off the fire spirit beast's tail, he still nodded. Alright, please take a look. Will this fire spirit beast obediently let us take a look? Fairy Yume asked suspiciously. It can distinguish between good people and bad people. You and Daoist Jinny are both good people, so it wouldn't reject you. If it were that person, it wouldn't work. Although Yun Chujio was vague, everyone knew that she was talking about Du Gai. Du Gai was not in the mood to bicker with her right then. His eyes were fixed on the fire spirit beast's tail. Fairy Yume and Daoist Jinny walked to the fire spirit beast's side doubtfully and gently touched the fire spirit beast's tail. The fire spirit beast shouted in its spiritual sense, Master, can you not let them touch my tail? Number 2. Be good. I will go back and give you more food. Just let them touch it a few times and it'll be over. I'm making money to buy food for you. In order to eat, the fire spirit beast had no choice but to abandon its dignity as a beast. It obediently allowed Fairy Yume and Daoist priest Jinny to touch its tail a few times. This fire spirit beast's tail has indeed not been damaged, Fairy Yume said with certainty. That's right, its tail hasn't been tampered with, Daoist priest Jinny echoed from the side. Du Gai only felt a buzz in his head. If it was not for his superb spirit energy, he might have really fainted under such a huge blow. It was over. Not only did we lose Spirit Radiance Sect's 1/10 of their share of Spirit Stones, we also have to compensate them 1/10 of their share of Spirit Stones, and the fucking 10 million low-grade Spirit Stones. Yun Chujio. It's all because of this smelly girl. Every time I'm unlucky, I can't escape her involvement. I must find a chance to get rid of this stinky little girl. Sect Leader Dugu. You have nothing to say now, right? Now it's my turn to speak. Everyone, I believe that you've seen the contract that the Heavenly Gates sect signed with our Spirit Radiance sect. The Heavenly Gates sect is really black-hearted, constantly finding trouble with our sect and insisting that we give away 1/10 of our share of Spirit Stones before agreeing to sell us Earth Fire. I didn't expect that the heavens would deliver the appropriate retribution. Not only did they extinguish the Earth Fire, but the Fire Spirit Beast had also disappeared. Thus, they framed our sect for stealing their Fire Spirit Beast. I won't comment much on Heavenly Gates sect's actions as I believe that everyone's eyes are sharp enough to see them. Sect Leader Dugu, now that the truth has been revealed, you should first transfer 10 million low-grade Spirit Stones to Master Xianyuan and then send someone to settle the Spirit Stone shares with us. It's best if you don't have any wishful thinking. If you want to act like a scoundrel and stall for time, and if your Heavenly Gates sect doesn't deal with this matter quickly, then in the future, Spirit Radiance sect's Earth Fire will not be sold to your sect at all. Yun Chujia's small figure was upright, and her words were righteous and impassioned. Chapter 429, The Price of Earth Fire. Du Gai's face turned red then green. He felt that he had nowhere to hide his face and wished that he could find a hole to hide in. He gritted his teeth. Our Heavenly Gates sect will naturally not go back on our words. Sooner or later, the truth will come out. When I find out who stole our Fire Spirit Beast, I definitely will not forgive him. Yun Chujio ignored him and hopped to Master Xianyuan and said, Master Xianyuan, I've dealt with the unreasonable people. You can handle the rest of the business. Du Gai was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Good, very good. Yun Chujio, I will remember you. Master Xianyuan held back his laughter and said to Du Gai, Master Xianyuan, first, transfer the 10 million spirit stones to us. Du Gai naturally did not want to be ridiculed by everyone for the 10 million low-grade spirit stones, so he gritted his teeth and transferred them to Master Xianyuan. He thought in his heart that even though they had lost this round, many people would definitely be jealous of Spirit Radiance sect's sudden acquisition of the Fire Spirit Beast. Don't even think about enjoying your gains in peace. Master Xianyuan, congratulations. Not only did you obtain 1/10 of our Heavenly Gate sect's share of Spirit Stones, but you also obtained a Fire Spirit Beast for free. Your sect will soar in the future. Heavenly Gate's sect wouldn't be able to compete with you. Du Gai said in a strange tone. Fairy Yumei and Taoist Master Zhen Yi's thoughts shifted slightly. Originally, the four great sects were on par with each other and kept each other in check. Now, Spirit Radiance sect obtained 1/10 of the Heavenly Gate sect's share of Spirit Stones, and they even obtained a Fire Spirit Beast for free. They will definitely surpass us in the future. Will they play tricks when that time came? The other large and small factions also began to shift their attention to the Earth Fire from their initial wait-and-see attitude. Would Spirit Radiance sect set the price of the Earth Fire to be very high? Master Xianyuan laughed loudly. Sect leader Du, you must be joking. Since our sect has received the Heaven's gift, we naturally won't want to enjoy the benefits alone. After discussion, we've decided to set the price of the Earth Fire at 80,000 low-grade Spirit Stones per cart, which is 80% of what Heavenly Gate sect charged. Also, if any faction can hand over a fragment of the Great Void Mirror to us, then the price of the Earth Fire will be reduced by a further 20%. Moreover, as everyone has seen, there's only one Fire Spirit Beast, so production of the Earth Fire is limited. Therefore, those who can provide the fragment of the Great Void Mirror will have priority in purchasing it. Master Xuanyuan's words caused a huge commotion among the crowd. They thought that Spirit Radiance sect would raise the price, but they did not expect that they would actually lower the price. This was truly unexpected. This instantly calmed the jealousy of the people. However, some people were clearly unwilling to see such a reaction. Du Gai asked with a cold smile, Master Xianyuan, since we can no longer enter the Great Void mystical realm, I'm wondering why your sect still places so much importance on the fragment of the Great Void Mirror. Could it be that there is some unspeakable secret within it? Fairy Yumei and Taoist Master Zhen Yi also looked at Master Xianyuan suspiciously. This matter was indeed a little suspicious. Master Xianyuan smiled slightly. The reason why we want to collect the fragments of the Great Void Mirror is because this Fire Spirit Beast was Heaven's gift, so we want to do something that conforms to the law of the heavens. The Great Void Mirror was passed down from the ancient times. If we can collect all the fragments, it can be considered as a small return from our sect to the heavens' gift. This matter is entirely voluntary. Our sect only provided it as a choice, and we will not force anyone into it. Everyone can consider this among yourselves. If you're interested in purchasing the Earth Fire, please come to our sect another day for a chat. We will not keep you all here today. When everyone heard Master Xianyuan say that, although they still had some doubts in their hearts, they could only take their leave. Before leaving, Du Gai stared at Yun Chuzhou deeply. Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes and said, Master Du, do you have something to say to me? I advise you to settle the Spirit Stone share transfer procedures as soon as possible. Otherwise, there won't be a share of Earth Fire for Heavenly Gates sect. Little girl, you're very good. However, you're already so outstanding at such a young age, showing off your intelligence like that. You have to guard your own little life. Du Gai felt his head buzzing. This smelly girl was really too infuriating. Chapter 430, Only Like Me. Thank you for your reminder, Master Du. Don't worry, you'll be able to live for thousands of years. Oh, you're already several hundred years old. Be careful on the way back. Don't get choked up or you'll be over in a flash. Yun Chuzhou smiled arrogantly. Du Gai felt that he would be so angry that he would vomit blood if he were to continue talking to the little girl. With a flick of his sleeve, he left with the people from Heavenly Gates sect. Master Xianyuan was in a good mood. It had been many years since he had such a good feeling. This pleasant mood continued until he entered the meeting hall. Master Xianyuan, do you want to give me some of that 10 million spirit stones? My mouth is dry from talking, and there's also number 2's performance. You should at least pay us some performance fees. How much do you want? Master Xianyuan subconsciously covered his storage ring. Let's meet in the middle. You just have to give me half. Master Xianyuan gritted his teeth. You have indeed made a great contribution this time, but as the little ancestor of Spirit Radiance sect, it's only right for you to contribute to the sect, so, I'll pay you 1 million at most. Yun Chujiu curled her lips. Alright, I am the sect's elder after all. 1 million it is. Yun Chujiu made another small fortune. After happily sending number 2 back to the Earth Fire Cave, she hopped back to her own courtyard. Before she reached the courtyard, she saw a group of colorfully dressed people blocking the entrance of her courtyard. They craned their necks and looked into the courtyard. When someone noticed that Yun Chujiu had returned, she immediately shouted. Junior sister Little Jiu is back. We want to have a chat with you. Quickly let us in. We've been waiting for you here for a long time. Yun Chujiu's good mood immediately disappeared. This gigolo was really attracting attention. Fortunately, there was an isolation array in the courtyard. Otherwise, this group of people would have definitely barged in. Senior sisters, do you guys have an ulterior motive? To tell you the truth, my Prince Charming will only like me in this life, the next life, the following life, and so on. You don't have to waste your efforts. It's better for you to swiftly change your target. Yun Chujiu placed her hands on her waist and shouted domineeringly. Everyone was stunned at first, then they started quarreling with each other. Junior sister Little Jiu, you don't have the right to say this. Only young Master D can say it himself. That's right, we have to hear it from young Master D personally before we're willing to believe it. That's right, you are not married yet, so we have the right to pursue. Why don't you let us see young Master D? Yun Chujiu, young Master D must have been tricked by you. Otherwise, why would he like a little girl like you who has no figure, body, or spirit energy? Yun Chujiu looked at them with contempt and opened the isolation array in the courtyard. She saw Di Baiming sitting beside the stone table and drinking tea. When everyone saw Di Baiming, they immediately restrained their aggressive aura and looked at him shyly. Young Master D, I am Su Yan, an inner disciple of the West Peak. Ah, your teacup is empty. Let me pour you some tea. Su Yan said as she quickly walked toward the stone table. She had a plan in her mind. With her looks, she would definitely be able to attract young Master D's attention. She was much better than Yun Chujiu. Scram! Just as Su Yan's hand was about to touch the teapot, Di Baiming flicked his sleeve. Su Yan flew over everyone's head like a kite with a broken string. After a long while, everyone heard a loud bang. Chapter 431, Feng Ming has returned. Everyone was shocked by Di Baiming's action. The female disciples who had wanted to imitate Su Yan were instantly frightened and did not dare to move forward. Get out! Di Baiming raised his head unhappily and swept his gaze across everyone. Everyone felt a chill run down their spines and their legs started to tremble. At that moment, they were extremely certain that if they did not get out, this man would mercilessly throw them out of the courtyard. At that moment, they no longer felt that this young Master D was elegant and gentle. He was a fucking jinx. Everyone staggered and ran out of the courtyard in a sorry state. After running for a few miles, everyone finally stopped. That young Master D is such a dog. I didn't expect him to have such a violent temper. I don't care how good-looking he is. What the hell was that? Exactly, he might hit his wife in the future. However, a few female disciples showed an even more infatuated expression. This kind of man is really interesting. He looked really handsome when he threw Su Yan just now. Yeah, young Master D only flicked his sleeve lightly, and Su Yan fell so far away. Su Yan is at the 9th level of spirit enhancement. Young Master Dis' spiritual power must be really unfathomable. What's the point of having a man who is easy to get? Only such a challenging man can give you a sense of achievement. I'm definitely going to get young Master D. That's right, I don't believe that I can't compete with that Yun Chuzhou. Young Master D must have been deceived by that Yun Chuzhou, that's why he doesn't show any emotion toward other women. At that moment, Yun Chuzhou was looking at Di Baiming with starry eyes. Prince Charming, that move of yours just now was really too cool. Especially when you said scram, it was simply too damn cool. Prince Charming, my admiration for you has risen to a new height. Di Baiming snorted. If you didn't let them in on purpose, would I have been stared at by those idiots? Yun Chujia's thoughts were exposed. She did not feel guilty at all. Instead, she said confidently, that's right, I did it on purpose. I just wanted them to give up. They wanted to snatch my man. They're simply looking to torture themselves. Although Di Baiming did not say anything, he was very pleased in his heart. The reason why Black Thing said that must be because she cared very much about him. Although she had many flaws, she was completely devoted to him. Little Sister Joe. Little Sister Joe. I'm back. Senior Brother Feng Ming. Senior Brother Feng Ming, I missed you so much. You're finally back. Yun Chujia's eyes lit up and she ran out of the courtyard to welcome him. Di Baiming felt his face hurt a little, and his heart was filled with panic. Looking at Yun Chujiu and Feng Ming at the courtyard door, he wanted to beat them up even more. Feng Ming and the other successive disciples went out to carry out the sect's mission. As soon as they returned to the sect and reported to Master Xianyuan, they immediately came to look for Yun Chujiu. Junior sister Little Jiu, how did you become so beautiful? And you even turned fairer and grew taller. Feng Ming said in surprise. Yun Chujiu said very smugly, Pfft. I was originally very good looking, okay? I was just a dusty pearl in the past, and I will become more and more beautiful as time passes. King Xuan's #1 beauty is none other than me. Junior sister Little Jiu, your words are still so interesting. Oh. You have spiritual power. You can cultivate now. Feng Ming was pleasantly surprised. Seeing that Feng Ming was genuinely happy for her, the smile on Yun Chujia's face became even more brilliant. Senior Brother Feng Ming, where did you go to train this time? You're finally back after such a long time. Oh right, what good stuff did you bring back for me? And Feng, who was in the corner, saw that his esteemed self's expression was getting uglier and uglier, so he lit a candle in his heart for Yun Chujiu. Miss Jiu, are you courting death? Can't you see that our esteemed lord is about to fly into a rage? You're still talking and laughing. Chapter 432, Yun Chujia's man, this time, we went to Qingtian Mountains. Apart from the beautiful scenery, there are also many specialty products there. This 9-petaled hibiscus nectar is very refreshing and sweet. There's also this crescent banana that has a soft and sticky in the mouth, and girls love to eat it. Feng Ming kept taking things out from his storage ring to show off his treasures. Yun Chujia's smile was as bright as a flower. As she kept the things, she kept asking non-stop, Senior Brother Feng Ming, how far is Qingtian Mountains from our sect? When will you go again next time? Can you bring me along too? Feng Ming suddenly felt a chill on his body. When he raised his head, he saw Di Baiming. Feng Ming felt that he could be considered as one of the best among the younger generation. Not only in Spirit Radiance sect, but also in the Qingxian continent. However, compared to this man in front of him, whether it was his appearance, aura, or spiritual power, all of them were inferior. Feng Ming's confidence, which he had always been proud of, suffered a huge blow. Di Baiming stared coldly at Feng Ming and did not speak. However, even such a faint pressure made Feng Ming feel a little breathless. Feng Ming suddenly recalled that he had fallen for no reason twice and inexplicably felt that it was related to this man in front of him. Yun Chujiu only noticed Di Baiming's displeased expression at this time and quickly said, "Senior brother Feng Ming, this is Di Baiming, my Prince Charming." Yun Chujiu's man. Feng Ming stumbled and almost fell to the ground. With a shocked expression, he asked, "Junior sister little Jiu, what did you say? Why your man? Are you married?" Yun Chujiu giggled, "Not yet, but sooner or later he will be mine. Prince Charming, this is Bird, senior brother Feng Ming." Although Di Baiming felt that it was more appropriate to say that she was his woman, but seeing that Yun Chujiu did not hide their relationship in front of Feng Ming, he knew that she really did not have any romantic feelings for Feng Ming. Thus, the expression on his face eased up a little. Di Baiming nodded slightly at Feng Ming, who cupped his hands. The two of them could be considered to have already met each other. Feng Ming chatted a little more. He felt a little uncomfortable in front of Di Baiming. Moreover, he felt odd that Yun Chujiu kept talking about her man, so he found an excuse to leave. When Yun Chujiu hopped to send Feng Ming off, Feng Ming asked in a low voice, "Junior sister little Jiu, what's going on? You're still young, don't be deceived. Senior brother Feng Ming, don't worry. I've known my Prince Charming for a long time. Master Xianyuan and the others have also seen my Prince Charming. I'll look for you to play with when I have time," Yun Chujiu said with a smile. When Feng Ming heard her say that, he could not say anything more and left. Yun Chujiu hopped back to the courtyard, took out the banana that Feng Ming had given to her, and ate it happily. While eating, she asked, "Prince Charming, don't scare senior brother Bird so much. He has helped me a lot." Di Baiming snorted coldly but did not say anything. Although Bird Boy was a little weak, his character was still okay. He could not stay in Spirit Radiance sect too often, so maybe Bird Boy could help him a little. "Little Jiu, since the matter with the fire spirit beast has come to an end, I'll go back to deal with some matters first. Don't be too playful and cultivate well. Try to ascend to the Tianyuan continent as soon as possible." Di Baiming had saved Yun Chujiu from Shui Wuji. He had accumulated quite a lot of things in his hands. Initially, he had planned to leave after sending Yun Chujiu back to Spirit Radiance sect. However, he was worried that the Heavenly Gates sect would make trouble, so he stayed for another 2 days. "Okay, Prince Charming. Go do your thing. I will cultivate properly." Yun Chujiu nodded her head obediently. At that moment, this fellow's heart was flying. After the gigolo left, she was going to look for senior brother Bird. She still had many questions to ask. Di Baiming frowned, "After I leave, don't mess around. If I find out that you've done something ridiculous, I will not forgive you." Yun Chujiu said confidently, "Don't worry. I will definitely cultivate well and improve every day. I will never let down my Prince Charming's expectations." "Oh right, my Prince Charming, you must treat the other flirtatious bitches like you did today. You must attack them steadily, accurately, and ruthlessly. You must not let them have the chance to get close to you." Chapter 433, Miss Jiu is really bold and unrestrained. The corner of Di Baiming's eyes twitched slightly. Keep these 5 concealment talismans just in case you need them. Prince Charming, you're really too kind. Come, give me a kiss goodbye." Yun Chujiu stood on her tiptoes and hugged Di Baiming. Di Baiming waved his sleeve, and the miserable Anfeng instantly lost his perception. Anfeng's heart was on the verge of collapse. "The two of you are really crossing the line. Don't put out bait if you don't want anyone to take it. You're going to torture a single dog like me to death. Miss Jiu is really bold and unrestrained. However, for such a proud and arrogant fellow like the revered one, perhaps only an unconventional girl like the 9th Miss could take him down." The women of the Tianyuan continent were destined to be sad. However, some of the girls who adored the revered one aren't easy to deal with. Fortunately, the ninth miss was now in the Qingxian continent. If she was in the Tianyuan continent, TSK, it would be very lively. And Feng found that he had regained his senses while his thoughts were running wild. And Feng, keep an eye on your revered one. If there are happenings in your little notebook, tell me and I will reward you handsomely. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. And Feng smiled non-committally, thinking to himself, Miss Zhou, you've got the complete opposite. The little notebook only records the happenings around you. After Di Baiming left, Yun Chuzhou clamored happily. She was very pleased. Compared to Yun Chujia's elation, Du Gaiyi from the Heavenly Gates sect was extremely depressed. Not only did he lose the earth fire, but he also had to give 1/10 of their spirit stones to Spirit Radiance sect. Fortunately, he had a deep foundation in Heavenly Gates sect. Otherwise, he would have been forced to give up the position of sect master because of this incident. Master, my cousins are in Spirit Radiance sect. Do you need them to do anything? Su Yanran asked tentatively. She was already halfway through the 9th level of spirit enhancement, and her cultivation speed could be said to be very fast. Hence, she was taken in as a true disciple by Du Gaiyi. She was doing very well in Heavenly Gates sect. Du Gai's heart moved. Tell me about their situation. Su Yanran briefly explained the situation of the Bai siblings. Master, the two of them have a grudge against Yun Chuzhou. As long as I promise them some benefits, they will definitely agree to our arrangements. Du Gaiyi nodded. We can give them some benefits and promise them that if they can't stay in Spirit Radiance sect, they can join our sect. I will accept them as true disciples. Get them to inquire about the fire spirit beast, and think of a way to get rid of Yun Chuzhou. Don't worry, Master. I'll get it done immediately. Su Yanran hated Yun Chuzhou to death. Even without Du Gai's instructions, she would have still contacted the Bai siblings. Su Yanran handed a secret letter Heavenly Gates sect's outer disciple that was planted in Spirit Radiance sect and told him to hand it to Bai Moyu personally. After receiving Su Yanran's secret letter, Bai Moyu was somewhat hesitant. Although he wished he could kill Yun Chuzhou, he limited it to using subtle tricks that would help not getting him discovered. However, the fire spirit beast was Spirit Radiance sect's top secret. Once he leaked the information about the beast, then he and Moru would definitely not be able to stay in Spirit Radiance sect. If things went wrong, they might even lose their lives. Therefore, when Bai Moyu replied, he only mentioned that he would try his best to get rid of Yun Chuzhou, and did not mention anything about the fire spirit beast. Su Yanran did not mind as she wanted to get rid of Yun Chuzhou first anyway. As for the fire spirit beast, as long as she used some tricks, she was not afraid that the Bai siblings would not comply. Chapter 434. Please stay in your lane. In the following period of time, the Bai siblings were very active. Bai Moyu was very sociable. Other than Liao Chuan and the other new disciples who kept a respectful distance from him, some of the older inner sect disciples had a good impression of him. Not only was he generous, but he was also very good at talking. Bai Morris' delicate appearance attracted the attention of some male disciples. In addition to Yun Chushan's pursuers, the three of them were very popular among the inner sect disciples of Spirit Radiance sect. Due to the Bai siblings' encouragement, as well as Yun Chujia's unbridled behavior, the inner sect disciples had a very bad impression of Yun Chuzhou. Moreover, they were also indignant about Spirit Radiance sect's higher-ups' favoritism toward Yun Chuzhou. How could a good-for-nothing at the 4th level of spirit enhancement be promoted to a true disciple? Although Yun Chuzhou had many wicked ideas and could speak eloquently, should the sect not focus on cultivation? The level of spiritual power was the standard to measure a disciple. Which inner sect disciple among them did not have a higher spiritual power than her? How could she be promoted to a successor disciple? Su Yun and the others told these rumors to Yun Chuzhou, but she did not take them to heart. People would only be jealous of those who were slightly stronger than them, and when you reached the height that they looked up to, the jealousy would turn into respect. Therefore, Yun Chujio did what she was supposed to do. She was not affected by these rumors at all. That afternoon, Yun Chujio hopped over to look for Feng Ming. She felt that Feng Ming definitely had the potential to become her best friend. His personality was too compatible with hers. Most importantly, he was not pretentious at all. When Yun Chujio was about to reach Feng Ming's courtyard, two women walked over from the opposite side. One of them was Su Yan, who got thrown away by Di Baiming. The other woman was someone she had never seen before. She had a beautiful appearance and was even on par with Su Yanran. Her temperament was different from Su Yanran's cold arrogance. She was very gentle and magnanimous. Senior Zhua, you don't know her yet, right? During the period of time when you went out to train, this Yun Chujio is very glorious. She obtained the first place in the Great Void Mystic Realm trial and was accepted as a true disciple by Elder Sun Buzhong. Furthermore, she had great luck and was able to cling on to young Master D. Now that young Master D has left, she's pestering Senior Feng Ming. How shameless. Although Su Yan had been thrown out by Di Baiming, she did not hate him. Instead, she hated Yun Chujio. Recently, she had been very close to Bai Moru, so she spared no effort to smear Yun Chujio's reputation. Senior Sister Zhua berated her in a low voice. Junior Sister Su, stop talking nonsense. Junior Sister Yun is still young, so she does things without propriety. It's inevitable for her to be a little thoughtless. Junior Sister Yun, Junior Sister Su speaks without restraint. Please forgive her. Yun Chujio glanced at Senior Sister Zhua. She was obviously trying to mediate the fight, but in reality, she was belittling her. What a white lotus flower, one. Forgive her. What if I don't forgive her? Why should I forgive her for slandering me? I'm not sick. Senior Sister Zhua clearly did not expect that Yun Chujio would not buy her words. She frowned slightly. Junior Sister Yun, although Junior Sister Zu's words are rash, were both disciples of Spirit Radiance sect. You don't have to be calculative. It's really not worth it to have an argument just because of a few words that aren't pleasing to the ear. Yun Chujio could not help but sneer in her heart. This Senior Sister Zhua's words were really artistic. After hearing what she said, she decided to be a petty person. I'm sorry. First, I don't know you. This is a matter between Su Yan and me. Please stay in North Your Lane. Second, Su Yan slandered me first. Since she has the guts to slander me, then she must have the guts to bear the consequences. Su Yan, are you going to slap yourself, or should I help you? You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.